In the Douluo world, I starred bound to the traveling frog. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76, Ice and Fire Dragon King Soulbone. Jugubo's ability to control poison is indeed powerful. Huang did not feel any poisonous gas in this open passage. Several people walked along this passage for half an hour, and a valley full of birdsong and flowers appeared in front of Huang. The valley is not big, but a small oval lake located in the middle of the valley is particularly conspicuous. The lake water in this lake is half milky white and half fiery red, which coexists in two distinct colors, which is also particularly conspicuous. The mist emitted by the two lakes rises up and intertwines together. The breeze changes into various magnificent scenes. There are indeed yin-yang eyes of ice and fire here. At this time, Huang's whole body was shaking with excitement. Huanger, did you find any treasure? This kind of inappropriate expression rarely appears on Huang. Based on Yuguan and Gaimai's understanding of him for so many years, there must be some extraordinary treasure here. Huang's lips moved, and he said a few words to Yuguan behind him without leaving a trace. Yuguan obviously understood Huang's lip shape. His whole body trembled. Old chrysanthemum, there are a lot of herbs by the lake ahead. Take your friend to see if there are any that can be used. Be careful, don't fall into the lake. Huang is his lifeline now. Although he still doesn't know whether Huang can cure his poison, at least Huang gave him hope. Aren't you going with him? Although Yuguan was already very happy in his heart, he still pretended to be suspicious and looked at Jugubo. You two old guys just beat me up. I have to heal my wounds now, Jugubo said in great resentment. Okay, then you practice here. I'll let the old ghost protect you by your side. HMPH. Jugubo snorted coldly, sat down on the ground and recovered from his injuries. How could he not understand Yuguan's words? It was just an excuse to let the ghost protect him by his side. He was just afraid that he would play some tricks, so he found a reason to monitor him by his side. Seeing Jugubo practicing there honestly, the two hurriedly walked towards the yin-yang eye of ice and fire. Fuck, I'm rich. There are so many immortal herbs. This is the eight-angled mysterious ice grass. This is the wonderful Rongtongshan chrysanthemum. And this is, looking at the many immortal herbs on both sides of the yin-yang eye of ice and fire, Yuguan's eyes became blurred. Second master, help me cut these two immortal herbs. I want to use them to refine my body. Huang pointed at the eight-angled mysterious ice grass and the fiery apricot and said to Yuguan beside him, You kid, these two are poisonous. Although Yuguan knew these immortal herbs, he didn't know that the combination of these two immortal herbs would produce a magical reaction. Teacher, don't worry, I won't joke with my life. Although the two immortal herbs, the eight-anise mysterious ice grass and the fiery apricot, are poisonous separately, they can create a supreme physique that is invulnerable to water and fire when combined. If you don't believe me, pick them and put them together to see. Okay, if there is no reaction, I won't allow you to take risks. Yuguan took out a sharp dagger and a piece of jade from his soul guide ring. He held the dagger in his left hand and the jade in his right hand, and cut the two immortal herbs at the same time. While cutting the two immortal herbs, he suddenly put them together. In an instant, the flames burning outside the fiery apricot and the frost mist outside the eight-anise mysterious ice grass disappeared. What a magical immortal herb! The best medicinal effect of the two immortal herbs combined only lasts for 10 breaths, which does not allow Huang to hesitate at all. He quickly took the immortal herbs handed over by Yuguan, rubbed them together directly, and put them in his mouth. This magical herb is indeed a magical herb. As soon as Huang put it in his mouth, it turned into spiritual liquid and flowed down his throat. In an instant, a cold and a hot energy rose from his abdomen and quickly swept his whole body. The power of these two energies was so rapid that Huang's body suddenly became a battlefield for the two energies to plunder frantically. The whole person turned half red and half milky white, just like the water in the lake. Huang, who was in unbearable pain, let out a heart-wrenching roar. The whole person jumped directly into the clearly divided lake water. In an instant, The lake water full of spiritual energy and the lake invaded the muscles torn by the two energies, and quickly repaired the broken body. Huang endured the double torture of body and mind, took a breath, did not let himself faint, and continued to dive to the bottom of the lake. This time he was not only for body training, but also for the corpses of the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King that sank to the bottom of the lake. After an unknown amount of time or how many meters he had dived, two giant dragon skeletons, each 100 meters long, slowly appeared in front of Huang. These should be the remains of the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King who died in the Dragon God War. Huang's face, which had become hideous due to the pain, showed an ugly smile. When he landed beside the giant dragon skeleton and was about to start looking for soul bones, he suddenly felt his palms warm up, and he subconsciously summoned his second martial soul, the purple brilliant sky-destroying dragon. Roar! A dragon roar full of destruction sounded, and the purple brilliant sky-destroying dragon appeared directly behind Huang. The wings of the purple brilliant sky-destroying dragon flapped, stirring the calm lake water, forming streams of water that quickly passed over the skeletons of the Ice and Fire Dragon Kings. The silt that had accumulated on the skeletons for many years fell off, revealing the crystal-like jade bones. Over million and an ice-blue arm-shaped soul bone also appeared in front of Huang. Great, there are still soul bones. After all, 10,000 years have passed since the Dragon God War, and Huang was not sure whether the soul bones of the Ice and Fire Dragon King could be preserved. The two soul bones of the Ice and Fire Dragon King are more than 100,000 years old. If they are taken out, I don't know how much trouble they will cause. Even the titled Buo dare not easily set foot in this lake. There is no safer place than this. Soul masters at the soul sect level can stay underwater for a day and a night without taking a breath. Huang simply sat down cross-legged, intending to absorb the two soul bones first, and then go out to meet up with his two masters. After not seeing Huang surface for a long time, Huang's heart was getting more and more scared. He now regrets not stopping Huang from absorbing the two immortal herbs. Even when Jugubo came over after training, Huang wanted to go into the water to find out. But when he stepped into the lake, before he could dive, the protective soul power on his body was corroded by the domineering ice and fire spring water. Now the three of them can only stay by the lake, hoping for a miracle to happen. Chapter 77, Medical Treatment. 4 hours had passed, but Huang still hadn't appeared in Binghuo Liangian's eyes. Yuguan, Gaimai and Jugubo stood quietly on the shore, staring at the calm lake, trying to find the slightest change. Old Jawa, old ghost, you two don't have to wait. Your precious disciple is definitely gone. Jugubo's words broke the tranquility of the scene. He looked at the calm lake with regret. He didn't expect that the hope he had waited for so hard would be shattered the moment he recovered from his injuries and woke up. Shut up, old thing. If you dare to say that Huanger is dead again, we too will kill you first, even if we risk our lives. As soon as Jugubo's dejected words came out, Yuguan and Gaimai, with bloodshot eyes, pointed their spears at him directly. I was telling the truth. You all know how terrifying this ice and fire spring water is. Even a titled Buo couldn't stay for a few breaths, let alone a child. He must. Seeing the martial spirits displayed by Yuguan and Guimai and the murderous aura they locked onto him, Jugubo dared not say any more. Goo, goo goo. A series of bubbles suddenly appeared in the calm yin-yang eyes of ice and fire, interrupting the confrontation between the three. In an instant, the three of them turned their eyes to the place where the bubbles arose. There were more and more bubbles, and the entire yin-yang eyes of ice and fire seemed to boil. Boom! The spring water in the lake suddenly exploded, accompanied by bursts of spring water rain. A naked figure popped out from the blast hole and landed steadily on the soft grass next to it. Ha ha! My Huanger is back. The excited Yuguan and Guimai didn't care about the corrosion of the ice and fire spring water remaining on Huang's body, and hugged Huang tightly in their arms. Masters, please relax a little. I am almost suffocated by you two. Hee. We are just too excited. The corrosiveness of this spring water is too strong, we all thought. Yuguan awkwardly explained the reason for his excitement. Masters, I still have to take you two to the God realm. How can you die so easily? Yi Huang comforted the two fertilized people. Okay, master will wait for that day. Yi Huang returned safely, and Yu Guan and Gui Mai smiled again. Senior Jugu, I have found the herbs to treat you. Yi Huang took out clothes from the soul guide, put them on, and said to Jugubo next to him. Are you telling the truth? Jugubo walked to Yi Huang's side with a brisk step, grabbed Yi Huang's bare shoulders with both hands, and shouted excitedly. Happiness came too suddenly, and Jugubo didn't believe what he just heard. As a titled Buo, even without using soul power, relying solely on the strength of the physical body, Jugubo's desperate grab still caused waves of cramps in Yi Huang's shoulders. Old poison, let go quickly, you're hurting Huanger. Yu Guan, who was standing next to him, saw Yi Huang's face turn pale in an instant, and hurriedly reminded Jugubo, I'm sorry, little friend, I was too excited. Jugubo loosened his grip on his hands and looked at the two green handprints left on Yi Huang's body, revealing a helpless expression. I understand your feelings. Wait until I put on my clothes, and I will treat you immediately. You can't let me treat you with my bare buttocks. Yi Huang also understood his current mood. After all, this was a matter of life and death. You put on your clothes first. Don't rush. Don't rush? Jugubo said that he was not in a hurry, but his eyes never left Yi Huang's body. Being stared at by an old man, Yi Huang felt uncomfortable and hurriedly put on his clothes. My friend, as soon as Yi Huang put on his clothes, Jugubo came over again. Senior Jugu, the poison has penetrated into your bones. There are two treatment methods now. Which one do you choose? Yi Huang did not beat around the bush and spoke directly. I don't know which two methods are they. Please tell me clearly. The first method can completely eliminate the poison in your body. Then what are you waiting for? Of course I hope to completely eradicate it. Before Yi Huang finished speaking, Jugubo could not wait to clarify his thoughts. Senior Jugu, don't be anxious, wait for me to finish my words. Although this method has advantages, it also comes with great disadvantages. As long as you take my pill, although it can eliminate the toxins in your body, it will also take away your poison skills at the same time. Yi Huang then told Jugubo about the disadvantages of this treatment method. What about the other method? Hearing Yi Huang's words, Jugubo was silent for a moment. He had offended many enemies outside over the years. He really didn't dare to adopt this method unless it was a matter of life and death. The second method is a conservative treatment method. I use some herbs as medicine to help you pour the toxins in your body into your soul bones. This method is only a temporary solution, not a permanent solution. The treatment time is also very long. You need to take the pills I refined regularly to remove the toxins accumulated in your body to ensure that you are free from the pain of the poison gnawing at your heart. And I am sure that your descendants will recover as long as they are under the age of 15. My friend is really a genius. I wonder where you learned this. My teacher is from the Po Yi clan. Yi Huang said the excuse he had already thought of in his mind. So, no wonder. The Po Yi clan is famous in Buo continent for refining medicine. Yi Huang interrupted his doubts with just a few words. Then let's choose the second method, but I'm afraid I'll have to bother you often in the future. As long as he can keep this body poison skill and not be attacked by the poison, he will be very satisfied. Okay, then please, Senior Jugu, help me prepare a quiet room. I need to help you refine the elixir. My friend, please come this way. Jugubo led Yi Huang to a cave carved on the stone wall. This cave was originally dug by Jugubo for rest. Because the toxins in his body broke out more and more frequently, he has been practicing almost all the time next to the yin-yang eye of ice and fire. Yi Huang was just pretending. In fact, to remove the toxins in the body, only a small amount of Yi Huang's blood was enough. He took out a few herbs that replenished qi and blood, crushed them, took out the essence of the liquid medicine and put it in a jade bottle, then pierced his skin with a needle and dropped a small drop of blood into the jade bottle. There was no furnace fire used to refine elixirs here, so Yi Huang directly placed the jade bottle on the side of the yin-yang eye of ice and fire close to the hot spring. The temperature of the hot spring was no lower than the fire in the furnace for refining elixirs. After a short while, The medicinal liquid in the jade bottle became more and more viscous due to the heat. Chapter 78 Jugubo's Evil Thoughts. Seeing that the time was right, Huang hurriedly fished out the jade bottle from the hot spring and poured the viscous liquid medicine into another jade box. Then he quickly divided the viscous liquid that was about to solidify into several pieces. Then he covered the lid of the jade box and swung his right hand continuously. After a while, the solidified liquid medicine pieces were rolled into round pills. Senior Jugu, take one first and see the effect. If it is not suitable, I will adjust the dosage. Thank you, my friend. Jugubo took the pills handed over by Huang, took one out and swallowed it. It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's a good time to test the medicinal properties of this pill. After taking the pill, Jugubo felt a slight warm breath in his body from his stomach to every corner of his body. He hadn't felt this kind of comfortable feeling for a long time. With the arrival of 3 o'clock in the morning, Jugubo's body was once again in pain, but this time the pain was obviously much shorter than before. Thank you for the magic medicine, my friend. After the poison took effect, Jugubo ignored his physical fatigue and hurriedly got up to thank Huang. After taking it once, he had such an effect, he no longer had any doubts about Huang's medical skills. Senior Jugu, take one pill a day for 7 days. After 7 days, take one pill a month. Huang handed the remaining pills to Jugubo. These were only enough for 1 year. Now he didn't really understand Jugubo's character, so of course he would keep some. My friend, I have a granddaughter named Juguyan, who is now studying in the Tandu Empire. Please stay here for a few more days. When my body recovers a little, I will take my granddaughter over. Then I will trouble you to treat my granddaughter. It's a small matter. I will wait here for a few days. Huang did not refuse Jugubo's request. I see that you know a lot about herbs. You can pick any herbs that you can use. Jugubo saw that Huang had a special liking for the herbs by the lake. In order to make him stay, he gave all the herbs by the lake away. Anyway, he didn't know these herbs, let alone their medicinal properties, so he didn't feel bad about giving them away. Thank you very much, Senior. I'll take this opportunity to see if there is a better way to remove the toxins from your granddaughter. Okay, then I'll trouble you. The two people reached a certain agreement with their own ulterior motives. It's getting late. Everyone, follow me back to the cave to rest. The 4 people walked into the cave dug by Jugubo. There were basically no outsiders here except Jugubo and his granddaughter, so there were only 2 rooms dug out in the cave. My friend, the conditions are simple, so I'll have to let you live in my granddaughter's room for now. As his benefactor, Huang was directly arranged by Jugubo to live in Juguyan's room. Jugubo, Yuguan and Gui Mai could only meditate and rest in another room. Although the cave was relatively simple, Juguyan's room was decorated very delicately. The walls of the entire room were covered with a layer of wallpaper, a large solid wood bed, a pink dressing table, a pink wardrobe, pink sheets, and a pink velvet quilt. What surprised Huang even more was that a set of purple underwear was neatly placed on the pink quilt. Looking at the underwear, a letter symbol flashed through Huang's mind. Lying in this velvet quilt, smelling the faint fragrance emanating from the quilt, Huang slept particularly well that night. The next day, when it was still dawn, Huang got up early and walked towards the yin-yang eye of ice and fire. The fairy grass was right in front of him, and in order to avoid more dreams at night, he had to harvest it quickly. From a distance, Huang saw a familiar figure wandering by the lake. Needless to say, it must be his second master Yuguan. Second master, why did you come so early? Huang came forward to greet him. Alas, it's because I couldn't sleep because of these immortal herbs. Huanger, why did you come so early too? Isn't this the same idea as second master? Ha ha ha. As soon as Huang's words came out, the two laughed at the same time. There are many immortal herbs, and Yuguan only knows a few. At this time, the knowledge Huang learned from Yang Wudi came in handy. The two of them were busy for a while, and finally collected all the herbs next to the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire. Now Tang San has not come to this place yet. Who knows where the wheel of history will turn? Rather than leaving disasters, It is better to control everything in one's own hands. There are so many herbs here that the two of them harvested for 2 hours before they finished. Young friend is back. When the two of them returned to the cave after their busy work, Jugubo and Gui Mai had already lit a bonfire outside the cave, and a roasted rabbit was on the bonfire. The rabbits in Luo continent are much bigger than those in Yi Huang's previous life, and they look like they weigh more than 20 kilograms. My friend, you're back. Come and eat. Seeing Yi Huang coming back, Jugubo broke off a rabbit leg and handed it over. Jugubo had something to ask of Yi Huang, so all the good things were given priority to him. Yu Guan and Gui Mai were not displeased at Jugubo's dog-licking behavior. After eating and drinking, Yi Huang did not slack off at all, and sat cross-legged on the ground to practice seriously. In an instant, 4 soul rings, 1 yellow, 2 purple, and 1 black, appeared in front of Jugubo. This, the 4th black soul ring. Jugubo rubbed his eyes again in disbelief. He thought Yi Huang was just an excellent doctor, but he didn't expect that his talent for cultivation was even more amazing. Old Poison, how is my apprentice? Yu Guan and Gui Mai asked when they saw Jugubo's current expression. The apprentice is doing well, and the master is of course also very proud. Young friend, Yi Huang's talent is the only one I have ever seen in my life. He is a monster among monsters. Jugubo, who has always refused to accept Yu Guan, really couldn't refute it this time. I don't know how old young friend Yi Huang is this year. Jugubo couldn't help but think of his granddaughter Juguyan. He was old, and the hope of breakthrough was slim. It was impossible for him to accompany his granddaughter all the time. On the other hand, Yi Huang was able to continuously absorb spirit rings of higher levels at a young age. It was a matter of course for him to become a titled Buo in the future. If he recruited Yi Huang as his grandson-in-law, even if he was gone one day, he would not be afraid that his granddaughter would be bullied by others. Huanger is still 7 months away from turning 12. 12. Jugubo jumped up. He thought Yi Huang was at least 14 or 15 years old, but he didn't expect that he was 2 months younger than his granddaughter. If you meet such a monster, you will be a fool if you don't catch him. Then is young friend Yi Huang getting married? Oh my god, you old vicious guy, you are really good at calculating. You and I are peers, but now you are planning to become my uncle. Yu Guan saw through Jugubo's little thoughts at a glance and started cursing. Chapter 79. Yi Huang breaks through again. How can that be? If we really become relatives, we should still treat each other as equals. Jugubo's little thoughts were exposed by Yu Guan, and a trace of embarrassment flashed across his face. In order for his granddaughter to have a good home, Jugubo also put aside his face and hurriedly came out to explain. Old chrysanthemum, my granddaughter is also a dignified person. Talent is also. The talent is not bad. Jugubo originally wanted to say that his granddaughter has a good talent, but when he thought of Yi Huang's talent, he really couldn't say it. He tried his best to promote his granddaughter to Yu Guan and Gui Mai. After all, a young man like Yi Huang who has neither the arrogance of a noble nor the talent of a demon to cultivate is not easy to meet. Old Poisonous, with the way you look, it would be strange if your granddaughter can be good-looking. Yu Guan and Gui Mai looked at Jugubo with suspicion, obviously thinking that there was a bit of water in his words. You two should not look down on others. My granddaughter is very beautiful. If Yu Guan doubted his granddaughter's talent, Jugubo would have nothing to say. After all, compared with Yi Huang, his granddaughter was indeed much worse. But Yu Guan and Gui Mai actually suspected that his granddaughter was ugly, which Jugubo could not tolerate. While the three were arguing, Yi Huang also woke up from his practice. Two masters, I seem to be level 50. As soon as Yi Huang opened his mouth, the titled Buo at the scene stood there as if acupuncture points were pressed. Yi Huang had just broken through to the soul sect 2 months ago, and his soul power was stable at level 43. In just 2 months, he has increased by 7 levels. What a perverted practice speed. Even Yu Guan, Gui Mai and Jugubo, the three titled Buo, were only soul masters in their 30s when they were Yi Huang's age. In fact, Yi Huang knew in his heart that the reason why he practiced so fast was also due to the blessing of the 2 soul bones of the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King. Without these 2 soul bones, his soul power would be at most around level 44. Haha, Good disciple, Lao Gui and I will go to the Sun and Moon Forest to find a suitable soul beast for you now. Yu Guan did not expect Yi Huang to break through so quickly, so the scouts in the spirit hall have not started looking for a new soul beast for Yi Huang. The two overjoyed no longer had the heart to argue with Zhuge, and planned to personally look for a soul beast with the fifth soul ring for Yi Huang. Old chrysanthemum. I know there is a tyrant chrysanthemum nearby, but it is a little older, a full 30,000 years old. Zhuge, who often hangs out in the Sun and Moon Forest, is obviously more familiar with the distribution of soul beasts in the forest than Yu Guan and Gui Mai, and directly gave them an important piece of information. Really? That's great. When we set the soul ring for Huang, we also considered tyrant chrysanthemum as one of the must-choose plant soul beasts. Yi Huang's current soul ring is full of control power, but lacks attack power, and tyrant chrysanthemum's soul skills can just make up for this shortcoming. But this tyrant chrysanthemum is quite old. Can friend Yi Huang bear it? Zhuge didn't know how evil Yi Huang's physique was, so he couldn't help but feel a little worried. Old poison, don't worry about this, just lead the way now. Then let's go now. Since Yu Guan was so sure, Zhuge didn't say anything more. Let's go. Zhuge led the way in front, and Yu Guan and Gui Mai followed closely with Yi Huang, flying towards the place where the tyrant chrysanthemum grew. The speed of the three-titled Duo was very fast. Not long after, a tyrant chrysanthemum with huge chrysanthemums appeared in front of Yi Huang. Huang, wait for me to cripple it first, Yu Guan said as he attacked the tyrant chrysanthemum. Although the innate soul skill of the tyrant chrysanthemum was extremely domineering, it did not have any advantage in front of Yu Guan, the titled Duo. In addition, the martial spirit Qirong Tong Shanju itself has a natural class suppression on the tyrant chrysanthemum. It didn't take long for Yu Guan to beat it to death. Yi Huang walked forward calmly and ended the life of tyrant chrysanthemum. Seeing a deep black soul ring slowly rising, Yi Huang hurriedly sat on the ground and absorbed it. Since Yi Huang got the Sharingan brought by the kid, his mental power has also greatly increased. The remaining resentment of tyrant chrysanthemum did not pose any threat to his consciousness. Instead, the Sharingan assimilated and became a part of Yi Huang's mental power. Seeing Yi Huang absorb the 30,000-year-old tyrant chrysanthemum without difficulty, Zhuge could no longer sit still. He greeted Yu Guan and Gui Mai directly, and flew impatiently towards the direction of Tandu City. His only idea now was to bring his granddaughter here as soon as possible to cultivate feelings with Yi Huang. As a 30,000-year-old plant-type soul beast, the energy contained in the soul ring is several times higher than when Yi Huang absorbed the fourth soul ring last time. This energy continuously washed over his body, and at the same time, it completely stimulated the residual medicinal power of the 8 aniseed mysterious ice grass and fiery apricot in Yi Huang's body and integrated it into his body. After a night, Yi Huang completed the absorption of the fifth soul ring and slowly opened his eyes. Huang, what is your fifth soul skill? Looking at Yi Huang who had woken up, Yu Guan asked impatiently. Second master, third master, the name of my fifth soul skill is the whole city covered with golden armor. As long as I use this soul skill, I can not only add a layer of defense to my teammates, but also add an offensive weapon, the golden spear. In order to more intuitively show the effect of his soul skills, Yi Huang directly lit up his fifth soul ring. Fifth soul skill, the whole city covered with golden armor. Along with Yi Huang's shouting, the Qirong Tongshan chrysanthemum that was originally suspended above his head quickly dispersed, and the petals and branches directly left the body. After a while, a piece of armor composed of Qirong Tongshan chrysanthemum petals appeared on Yi Huang's body, and in his hand there was also a golden spear transformed from the flower stem of Qirong Tongshan chrysanthemum. Ha! The spear in Yi Huang's hand stabbed at a towering tree in front of him. Boom! Under the attack of the golden spear, the trunk of the towering tree exploded directly and fell to the ground with a bang. The remaining spear light penetrated the tree and hit the ground, creating a deep pit. Good, good. Seeing the damage caused by Yi Huang's soul skills, Yu Guan and Gui Mai showed satisfaction on their faces. Let's go back to the old poisonous creature and see if he has come back. Wait until you cure the old guy's granddaughter, Then we can go back to Wuhan City. I think His Holiness the Pope will be surprised to see your current soul power level." The three of them walked back to Jugubo's poison formation, talking and laughing. Chapter 80 Dragon Grass. As soon as Yi Huang, Yu Guan and Gui Mai landed next to the poison array, Jugubo came out with a girl with dark purple hair and a great figure. It was obvious that he had been paying attention to the movements around the poison array, waiting for the three to return. "Congratulations, my friend, for your successful promotion." "Thank you, Senior Jugu." It was a great honor for a titled Buo to congratulate him personally. Yi Huang was not the kind of person who didn't know how to appreciate a favor. Hearing Jugubo's congratulations, he hurriedly returned the greeting. "You too, this is my granddaughter Jugu Yan." Yan. These two are Chrysanthemum Buo Yu Guan and Ghost Buo Gui Mai. They are both famous titled Luos on Luo continent. Jugubo pointed at Yu Guan and Gui Mai, and then introduced them to Jugu Yan. As Jugubo's granddaughter, Jugu Yan was no stranger to the titled Luos on Luo continent. Hearing that the two old men standing in front of him were actually Ju Buo and Ghost Buo, who were more powerful than his grandfather, he did not dare to neglect them at all and hurried forward to salute. Jugu Yan greets the two seniors. "Child, get up quickly. We are all family, there is no need to salute." As soon as Yu Guan's words came out, Jugubo smiled knowingly. Yan, this is Yi Huang, the miracle doctor who treated you this time. You should communicate with him more in the future." Jugu Yan carefully looked at Yi Huang beside Yu Guan. She originally thought that the miracle doctor her grandfather found would be one of the two titled Buo Yu Guan and Ghost Buo, but she did not expect that the one who treated her would be a child of about her age. If it were not for Jugubo's personal experience, she would have suspected that her grandfather had been fed a magic potion by Yi Huang after taking the pills prescribed by Yi Huang. When Jugu Yan looked at Yi Huang also observed Jugu Yan carefully. Jugu Yan is also good-looking, and is no worse than Yi Lingaling and Huliina. She exudes a kind of enchanting heroic spirit that Huliina and Yi Lingaling do not have. "Senior Jugu, let's go in and discuss the poison in Miss Jugu's body first." Yi Huang gathered his thoughts and said hurriedly, as a person who has lived two lives, how could he not know the little thoughts of the three titled Buo? Although Jugu Yan's appearance is also good, it is the first time for the two to meet, and there is no emotion at all. Yi Huang is not so hungry that he wants to meet one after another. "Okay, let's solve the current problem first, and then discuss other things." Jugubo did not dare to neglect it at all when it came to the safety of his granddaughter's life. "Friend Yi Huang, does Yanyan's condition require a new pill, or can she just take the same pill as me?" Jugubo consulted Yi Huang as he walked. "Senior Jugu, there are 3 ways to treat Miss Jugu's poison." "There are actually 3 ways. Is Yanyan's treatment different from my previous treatment?" Jugubo asked in confusion. "Some are the same, some are different." "Oh, then please explain in more detail." "The first method is to directly abolish the poison skill. Miss Jugu's martial soul is the green phosphorus snake, which uses poison attack as its main means. Obviously, abolishing the poison skill directly is not the best choice." "You are right." Jugubo nodded in agreement. "If the poison skill is abolished directly, the green phosphorus snake martial soul will be useless. How can a snake without poison deal with the enemy? Do you rely on rolling?" "What about the second method?" Jugubo directly ignored the first method. "The second method is conservative treatment, which is the same as the treatment method used by the senior. It's just that the dosage of the pills should be smaller. Just take half a pill each time." Miss Jugu is young, and there are fewer toxins accumulated in her body, so it's easy to clean them up. The toxins produced in the future will be directly introduced into the soul bones in her body, which can also protect her from the invasion of toxins. Then use this conservative treatment method. Before Yi Huang said the third method, Jugubo made a choice. Safety is the most important thing. He just wants his granddaughter to be safe and sound, and he doesn't ask for anything else. "Senior Jugu, don't rush to answer. It's not too late for you to make a choice after I finish talking about the third treatment method." "Is the third method better than the first 2? "I can't give you an answer to this. This method requires you to choose it yourself." I can only say that each has its pros and cons. It depends on how you choose. Yi Huang's ambiguous words attracted Zhuge Bo's attention. Then, my friend, please tell me what the third method is? Wait a moment, before that, I must know what Soul Beast Soul Bone Senior Zhuge prepared for Miss Zhuge. Yi Huang did not directly answer Zhuge Bo's question, but instead shifted the topic to Zhuge Yan's Soul Bone. Zhuge Bo hesitated for a moment after hearing Yi Huang's words. For their own safety, soul masters generally do not take the initiative to reveal their soul bones and soul skills. It was indeed a bit abrupt for Yi Huang to ask this question suddenly. Do you really need to know this? Yes, this is very important. If you don't want to say it, I won't force you. Let's use the second conservative method to treat the toxins in Miss Zhuge's body. Yan's soul bone is a torso bone of a flame tiger dragon. Zhuge Bo's martial soul is the green phosphorus snake king, and his heart is very sensitive. He feels that if he doesn't say it, he will miss a great opportunity. So after a little thought, he said Zhuge Yan's soul bone. Not only can the flame burst out powerful attack power, but it can also stimulate the diffusion speed of the poison. It really complements each other. Yi Huang pondered for a while and said to himself, I got this with great difficulty. Hearing Yi Huang's praise, Zhuge Bo's old face also showed a proud expression. I don't know what the use of asking this is. My third treatment method can not only retain the poisonous properties of the green phosphorus snake, but also make Miss Zhuge's martial soul evolve into a flame tiger dragon. What? It can make the martial soul evolve. As soon as Yi Huang's words came out, the three titled Buo present shouted. They also knew that certain opportunities can make martial souls evolve, but they didn't expect Yi Huang to know the secret method. Really? How confident are you? I am only 70% confident, and the remaining 30% depends on Miss Zhuge herself. When Yi Huang was harvesting the immortal grass next to the yin-yang eye of ice and fire, he found two dragon grasses that could evolve snake martial souls at both ends of the yin-yang eye of ice and fire spring water boundary. Now that he had taken such a big advantage, he still felt a little embarrassed. What's more, none of his friends had snake spirits, so he had no use for the dragon grass. So he simply helped Zhuge Yan, which could be seen as a kind of compensation to Zhuge Bo. Chapter 81, Soul Evolution. Fiery Tiger Dragon. As for why he didn't help Zhuge Bo evolve first, it was because Zhuge Bo was too dangerous. Before he had a complete grasp of him, Yi Huang didn't dare to take risks easily. Who among the titled Buo is not a ruthless person? He was being polite now only because he needed help from Yi Huang. Once Zhuge Bo had the ability to counterattack, he would definitely attack Yi Huang without hesitation. Yi Huang stood there quietly waiting for Zhuge Bo's decision. At this time, Zhuge Bo's face kept changing expressions, and it was obvious that he was also very entangled in his heart. He knew in his heart that Zhuge Yan's green phosphorus snake martial spirit alone was not enough to cultivate to the titled Buo realm. If the martial spirit could be evolved into a flame tiger dragon with poisonous attributes, it would be easy to be promoted to the titled Buo. But as his only offspring, he didn't want his granddaughter to have any mistakes. After a long time, Zhuge Bo let out a long sigh. Friend Yi Huang, let's follow the second conservative treatment method. In the end, he was reluctant to let his granddaughter take risks. Okay, then I'll make more pills. Since Zhuge Bo chose to let Zhuge Yan live a peaceful life, Yi Huang didn't say anything. Prepare to go to the cave and drip a drop of blood for easy medicine. Wait, please stay. As soon as Yi Huang turned around, he was stopped by Zhuge Yan, who had been silent beside Zhuge Bo. I wonder what Miss Zhuge wants to stop me for? Yi Huang's face was full of confusion. I want to choose the third treatment method. Zhuge Yan didn't drag her feet and directly stated the purpose of stopping Yi Huang. Yan, no. Evolving martial spirits is too dangerous. Zhuge Bo heard his granddaughter's words and persuaded her anxiously. I won't. Grandpa, you have been protecting me since I was little. You can protect me for a while, but you can't protect me forever. How many more years can you take care of me? I still have to face life on my own. I'm already 12 years old, an adult. Just let me make the decision for once. Zhuge Yan's words directly awakened Zhuge Bo. He is almost 80 years old this year. If his soul power does not break through, he will only have another 30 or 40 years of life. By that time, his granddaughter will still have to face it alone. Instead of doing this, it is better to let her take a chance. Even if she fails, at least she has tried. Friend Yi Huang, then do as Yan Yan said. Yeah, long live Grandpa. Hearing that Zhuge Bo agreed to her request, the happy Zhuge Yan jumped directly on his back. You kid, why don't you come down quickly and let outsiders laugh at you? I don't know what I need you to prepare. Since he has chosen the third treatment method, Zhuge Bo will not drag his feet. There is no need to prepare anything. As long as Miss Zhuge adjusts her soul power to the best state, we can start at any time. I'll be there soon. Hearing Yi Huang's words, Zhuge Yan sat cross-legged in the cave to adjust her soul power. After a while, she woke up from meditation. Seeing Zhuge Yan wake up, Yi Huang's mind moved, and a crystal-like fairy grass with branches and leaves like a giant dragon took off appeared in his hand. This is the dragon transformation grass. Miss Zhuge will summon her martial soul in a while. Just heat it directly. Then Yi Huang took out another herb from the soul guide. This is a Xuanbing grass. If you really can't stand the heart-wrenching pain during the evolution process, you can eat this herb. In this way, the pain in your body will be eliminated. But once you eat this Xuanbing grass, it means that the evolution of the martial soul has failed. Yi Huang explained the functions of the two fairy herbs to Zhuge Yan in detail. I don't need this. Possessed by the green phosphorus snake, as the descendant of the titled Douluo, Zhuge Yan also has her own pride. She did not take the mysterious ice grass from Yi Huang's hand, but directly summoned her own martial spirit. With Zhuge Yan's summons, her body changed greatly, and her legs merged together to become a thick snake tail. The whole body was supported by this thick snake tail. A diamond-shaped green scale appeared between her eyebrows, and her green eyes became particularly sharp. A cold breath different from that of humans burst out from her body. Zhuge Yan followed Yi Huang's instructions and ate the dragon transformation grass. Although this dragon transformation grass is not conspicuous, its energy is indeed very overbearing. Otherwise, it would not have the effect of rebirth. Sure enough, not long after, the cold breath on Zhuge Yan's body slowly became weak, and a violent breath slowly rose from her body. A red light burst out from Zhuge Yan's back, and the soul bone of the flame tiger dragon on her body began to melt slowly, and then slowly penetrated the spine of the green phosphorus snake. A strong flame burned from the spine of the green phosphorus snake, slowly spreading to the entire snake body. Ah! The strong burning sensation made Zhuge Yan scream directly. The huge snake body kept twisting, and the stone table and stone chairs in the cave were smashed to pieces by the snake's tail. Yan Yan, Zhuge Bo, who felt sorry for his granddaughter, wanted to go up to help, but was stopped by Yi Huang. Senior Zhuge, you will only cause trouble if you go up now, and you can't help at all. Miss Zhuge didn't use the Xuanbing grass, which means she hasn't reached the end of the road yet. Ah! A scream that was louder than before came out of Zhuge Yan's mouth, followed by a hissing sound like clothes breaking from her body, and the green snake skin that was already wrapped in flames actually cracked a gap. As Zhuge Yan's body continued to twist, the crack became larger and larger. A body emitting blazing flames emerged from the snake skin and appeared in front of Yi Huang. The triangular snake head gradually turned into a tiger head. Although the body of the green phosphorus snake had completely evolved into the body of the flame tiger dragon, the evolution was not over yet. The toxicity of the green phosphorus snake itself was slowly gathered into the mouth of the flame tiger dragon under the burning of the flame, and a dragon pill wrapped in flames slowly formed. The screams in Zhuge Yan's mouth slowly turned into low hums, and finally even the low hums disappeared, leaving only Zhuge Yan's low panting. Success! Yi Huang also breathed a sigh of relief. He was really afraid that Zhuge Yan would have an accident. Although this was her own choice, if she was really injured because of the evolution, Zhuge Bo might not dare to take action openly because of fear of the forces behind Yi Huang. But it was really hard to say in secret. Snake into dragon, dragon into dragon. Zhuge Yan has completed the first step. My young friend, I am grateful for your kindness. If you need help in the future, as long as you send someone to tell me, I will never refuse. Feeling the power of his granddaughter's martial spirit after its evolution, Zhuge Bo excitedly thanked Yi Huang for his help. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82 Jugubo. Can my granddaughter only be a concubine? Senior Jugu, you are too polite. Hearing Jugubo's words, Huang was delighted. This effort was not in vain. Although Jugubo's character is both good and evil, he is a man who values his promises. Otherwise, he would not have put aside his dignity as a titled Buo and attacked a child like Huang for a scum like Prince Zhu. Now that he has promised to help Huang in the future, he will never regret it. Grandpa, I succeeded. Zhuge Yan, who had evolved successfully, stood up with excitement on his face. Yeah, my Yan Yan is the best. Jugubo touched Zhuge Yan's hair and praised his granddaughter with satisfaction. Yan Yan, use your martial soul and soul skills to attack me now. Let me see how powerful your martial soul is now. Grandpa, aren't you bullying me? You are a titled Buo. How dare you bully a soul master like me? I don't want to fight with you. Huang, how about we have a competition? Don't worry, sister. I will definitely hold back. I will never let you get hurt. Zhuge Yan's eyes turned and looked at Huang, who was silent beside her. It was no wonder that Zhuge Yan wanted to compete with Huang so eagerly. It was really because Jugubo kept praising Huang in front of her along the way. This made Zhuge Yan's heart sour. After all, from childhood to adulthood, these words of praise from Jugubo belonged to her. Zhuge Yan, girl, are you sure you want to compete with Huang? Seeing Zhuge Yan directly approaching Huang, Yu Guan and Gui Mai beside him showed a playful expression on their faces. Of course, I just don't know if brother Huang dares. Zhuge Yan gave Huang a provocative look, and deliberately pronounced the word brother very hard. Since sister Yan Yan wants to spar with me, then of course I will risk my life to accompany you. Huang was not afraid either. Although he didn't want to bully children, he didn't want anyone to ride on his head. Okay, you have courage. Sister will definitely be gentler later. The two walked out of the cave and came to an open space. Zhuge Yan, a level 33 control system combat soul master, please teach me. As soon as the voice fell, a flaming tiger dragon with dual attributes of fire and poison appeared on her body. 3 soul rings, 2 yellow and 1 purple, also quickly appeared. When Zhuge Yan came from the Tandu Royal Advanced Soul Master Academy, she had just obtained a level 30 soul ring. The dragon grass not only evolved her martial soul, but also increased her soul power by 3 levels. Huang, level 53, Control System Combat Soul King. Please teach me. As Huang spoke, a huge strange chrysanthemum floated above his head. 5 soul rings, 1 yellow, 2 purple and 2 black, began to appear under his feet. Soul King. Looking at the 5 soul rings on Huang, especially the black soul ring with a dark color, Zhuge Yan was shocked and felt powerless. HMPH, no more playing. Zhuge Yan decisively dispersed the soul power on her body and walked to Jugubo with a red face. She originally wanted to defeat Huang and show her strength to her grandfather, but seeing Huang's soul ring, there was no need to compete anymore. Soul Master versus Soul King, isn't this looking for abuse? Grandpa, why didn't you tell me that brother Huang has such a high soul power? It embarrassed your granddaughter. HMPH, I won't pay attention to you. After making such a big mistake, Zhuge Yan was really embarrassed to stay here, and found an excuse to run back to her room. But as soon as she returned to her room, Zhuge Yan ran out again. Grandpa, who entered my room? Oh, Huang has been treating me here these days, so I let him stay in your room temporarily. Is there any problem? No. Hearing that it was Huang who lived in her room, Zhuge Yan's face flashed with an unnatural look. You, come here. Zhuge Yan pointed at Huang and said, Me? Yes, it's you. Although Huang didn't know why Zhuge Yan called him, he still walked over. Talk over here, as if afraid that the 3 titled Buo present would hear something. Zhuge Yan pulled Huang away again. Have you ever seen a set of purple? After all, she was still a girl who had not experienced the world. and Zhuge Yan hesitated and didn't know how to start. "Oh, I saw it, and put it in the cabinet for you." "Oh, you won't use it for other things, right?" Yi Huang's casual words made Zhuge Yan very unhappy. Girls in their ignorant period are like this. If you chase her like a licking dog, she will look down on you. But when you ignore her existence, she will also look down on you and think that you are blind to the truth. Haha, I'm not interested in little grapes. Yi Huang doesn't have the habit of letting other people's faults get the better of him. Mine is not little grapes. Zhuge Yan straightened her chest. Seeing Zhuge Yan and Yi Huang whispering non-stop, Yu Guan was also very curious. "Old Poison, what does your granddaughter want to do?" "How would I know about young people's affairs?" Now Zhuge Bo likes Yi Huang more and more, and he wishes his granddaughter would pester Yi Huang all day long. "Old Chrysanthemum, can I meet Yi Huang's parents? You see, my granddaughter is not bad. I would like to ask you to introduce her to see if we can make this beautiful marriage come true." Now that his biggest worry has been solved, Zhuge Bo has turned his attention to Yi Huang. Huanger's parents died a long time ago. "Oh, that's such a pity." Since Yi Huang's family is gone, as his masters, can you two decide his lifelong affairs? "We can't make the decision on this matter." Hearing Zhuge Bo's words, the two hurriedly shook their heads. What a joke. They have Bibi Dong and Qi on daily Ut, two great gods above them. It's not their turn to make the decision. You are Yi Huang's master, can't you make the decision on such a matter? "Old Poison, we really can't make the decision. You should know that his parents are more than just the two of us. Those two are not people we can afford to offend. If you really like Yi Huang, I suggest you let your granddaughter work harder. If you act quickly, she may even be able to occupy a quota for a concubine." "Concubine, old Chrysanthemum, have you drunk too much? I don't know how many young talents have come to my granddaughter to propose marriage. How could she be a concubine to others?" Zhuge Bo heard Yu Guan's words, and his voice rose several scales, and he roared with indignation on his face. Although he was very optimistic about Yi Huang, he was just optimistic. If his granddaughter really became a concubine to Yi Huang, he would really be reluctant. Haha, old poisonous creature, don't feel aggrieved. The power behind Huanger is beyond your imagination. Think about it carefully. The three of us will go back to Wuhan City first. We have been out for so long, it's time to go back. Yu Guan greeted Yi Huang in the distance, said goodbye to Zhuge Bo, and flew towards the outskirts of the Sun and Moon Forest. Chapter 83, Moon Pass and Ghosts Break Through. Yu Guan and Gai Mai had been out for quite a while. As elders in charge of punishment, there must be a lot of things waiting for them to deal with in the hall. In order to return to Wuhan City as soon as possible, the two did not hesitate to consume their soul power and took turns to take Yi Huang across the sky of the Sun and Moon Forest. The three came to the place where they first met Zhuge Bo and found that the carriage that Yi Huang was riding had been pulled away by someone else at some point. Only the dead horses and the bodies of the driver were left on the ground. Zhuge Bo was worthy of being a titled Buo with poison as his name. The poison he released was indeed extremely overbearing. Although the coachman and the two horses had been dead for many days, there was still no sign of decay on their bodies. The mosquitoes and flies that tried to feast on the bodies were poisoned to death. In order to prevent the toxins on these bodies from causing damage to passers-by and the surrounding environment, Yi Huang hurriedly dug a large pit on the ground and pushed the man and two horses into the pit. "Second master, please help me find the family of this coachman. I want to meet them." After burying the body, Yi Huang said to Yu Guan, "I didn't kill Bo Ren, but Bo Ren died because of me. It was because of my involvement that the coachman died. The dead cannot be resurrected." So Yi Huang thought about giving some financial compensation to the family of the coachman when he returned. "Huanger, don't worry, this coachman was originally a spy in our spirit hall in disguise. The spirit hall's pensions for sacrificed soul masters are still very generous. In the future, all the living expenses of his family and the education of their descendants will be responsible to the end." Yu Guan obviously understood Yi Huang's purpose of looking for the coachman's family. "That's great." Upon hearing Yu Guan's words, Yi Huang heaved a sigh of relief. After burying the corpse, the three of them walked to a distribution point outside the Sun and Moon Forest, hired a carriage and continued to head towards Wuhan City. After getting on the carriage, Huang began to think about the distribution of the fairy grass in the soul guide. Third Master, this netherworld weird flower is for you. After you absorb it, it can make the fluctuation of your soul power smaller when you activate your soul skills. Huang took out a fairy grass that was completely black and had a strange purple flower, and handed it to Gaimai. Gaimai's martial soul is a ghost. Although it can hide its body in the air, it cannot hide the soul power fluctuations generated when it activates soul skills. At the level of soul masters at the titled Buo level, their souls are extremely powerful. This fairy grass can better reduce the fluctuations generated when Gaimai activates his soul skills. Good apprentice, then I won't be polite. Gaimai was overjoyed to take the immortal grass handed over by Huang and put it into his soul guide. Second Master, this Girong Tong Shanju is the same as our martial soul, so I'll give it to you. Huang would of course not favor one over the other, and directly took out another immortal grass. In fact, the medicinal power of Acacia Heartbroken Red is better, but his second master is a single dog and has no lover at all, so how can he get the recognition of the immortal grass? Huanger, Master is so old, this immortal grass should be left to you. Guan directly refused. It's not that Guan doesn't want this immortal grass, but that he can't have it. Guan has long regarded Huang as his own son or nephew, and at this time he wants to leave the best things to Huang. Second Master, you also know that this immortal grass can't be taken too much. I have already taken the two immortal herbs, Xoan Binkao and Li Huaxing Jiaoshu, and I have achieved invulnerability to water and fire. It would be a waste to take this one again. Now this immortal grass belongs to you. If you want it, keep it, and if you don't want it, throw it away. Without waiting for Guan to say anything, Huang directly stuffed the magic grass into his palm. Okay, Master, keep it. What a joke. How could Guan be willing to throw away this rare immortal grass? There were still more than 10 days to go to Wuhan City. Guan and Gaimai also ate the immortal grass in their hands and absorbed it in the carriage. Looking at Guan and Gaimai absorbing the immortal grass, Huang was refreshed and took on the responsibility of guarding. There is no time in cultivation. 10 days have passed in the blink of an eye. There are still about 2 days to reach Wuhan City. As time went by, Guan and Gaimai, who were absorbing the immortal grass in the carriage, did not wake up. It is normal for a soul master to be in seclusion for more than 10 days, so Huang was not worried. One day, when Huang was preparing to practice, he suddenly felt a weak mental fluctuation flash by. Gaimai, who was sitting in front of Huang to practice, began to become illusory, and then disappeared from Huang's sight without any signs. Before Huang could react, Gaimai's figure slowly appeared in the original place of practice. This series of events happened too suddenly, as if the scene that just appeared had never happened. Huang carefully sensed and found that when Gaimai appeared again, the soul power fluctuations on his body were obviously much smaller than before. Congratulations to Master 3 for breaking through to a new realm. Seeing Gaimai open his eyes and look full of joy, Huang hurriedly congratulated him. As soon as Huang finished speaking, the energy fluctuations on Guan's body next to Gaimai also increased rapidly. Gaimai's breakthrough method is introverted, silent, with almost no soul power fluctuations, and no strong pressure bursting out of his body. But Guan's breakthrough method is completely opposite. The strong pressure bursting out of his body made Huang a little breathless. Not good. Let's go. Gaimai, who has a keen mental power, realized that something was wrong, and directly clamped Huang, holding the driver's neck with one hand, soared into the air, and quickly flew to a place 100 meters away from the carriage. As soon as the three figures landed on the ground, dense sounds came from the carriage. Swish, swish, swish. Petals of golden chrysanthemums turned into sharp blades that pierced through the wooden boards around the carriage, hitting the horses pulling the carriage and the trees on both sides of the road. In a blink of an eye, wherever the petals passed, the horses pulling the carriage were chopped into several pieces before they could even scream, and the trees on both sides that were as thick as arms were directly cut in half, revealing smooth cross-sections. Good guy, it's fortunate that Third Master discovered it in time. Otherwise, if I'm not careful, I might have the same fate as these small trees. Looking at the powerful killing power of the petals, Huang was also terrified. Boom. This is not over yet. The terrifying energy on Guan's body erupted again, and the carriage could no longer withstand the terrifying aura and exploded directly. You can go now. This is your compensation. Gui Mai took out a large bag of gold soul coins from the soul guide, gave it to the pale-faced coachman, and sent him away. Anyway, there is no carriage left, and there is no use for you to keep this coachman. Chapter 84 3-Leaf Pure Spirit Flower. Feeling that Guan's pressure was weakening, Gui Mai came over with Huang with a face full of complaints. Old chrysanthemum, don't you know how to restrain yourself? You ruined the good carriage. Without the carriage, how can you let us go back to Wuhan City? It's just that I can't control the sudden increase in energy in my body. Guan opened his eyes, looked at the mess around him, and said embarrassedly, Huanger, I didn't hurt you just now, did I? Guan asked Huang with concern. Before the pressure in his body broke out, Guan vaguely remembered that Huang was sitting next to him. Second Master, I'm fine. Fortunately, Third Master noticed it in advance, otherwise I might have ended up like the small trees on both sides of the road. Seeing Guan's concerned eyes, Huang made a little joke. Two Masters, how much have your soul powers increased? The younger the age of this fairy grass, the greater the potential it will stimulate after absorbing it. Huang is now very curious about how many levels Guan and Gui Mai have increased. I've leveled up. Gui Mai was the first to answer Huang's question. I've leveled up too. Guan followed closely behind. That's a little too little. Hearing the two's answers, Huang's words were full of dissatisfaction. Although he was prepared, he heard their words. Compared with the original novel where the Shrek 7 devils could easily increase their soul power by 6 or 7 levels at a time, it was really a little too little. Not a small amount. You have to know that at the level of me and Lao Gui, the increase of soul power depends not only on hard work, but also on the perception of soul power. It's extremely difficult to get a level up. Those with good aptitude may be able to get to level up in a few years, while those with poor aptitude may not make any progress in their entire lives. The soul power of Lao Gui and I has not been promoted for more than 10 years. This time, thanks to your magic grass, we were able to break the limit of our bodies. Otherwise, our soul power level may stay at level 95 for the rest of our lives. Guan changed the subject and continued. What's more, Lao Gui and I have combined soul skills. Although our soul power has only increased by 1 or 2 levels, quantitative change leads to qualitative change. If we join forces now, I'm afraid that the second priest will not be able to get away with it in our hands. We are already very satisfied. Since both masters are satisfied with their soul power, Huang no longer said those discouraging words. The carriage was gone, and the three of them could only walk the rest of the way. Fortunately, it was not far from Wuhan City. Finally, when the lights were just rising, the three of them returned to Wuhan City. Guan and Gui Mai did not even go back to the Elders' Hall, but took Huang directly to the Pope's Hall. Too many things happened these days, and the two had to report to Bibi Dong as soon as possible. To Elders, His Holiness the Pope has ordered that you can go directly to the Pope's Hall when you come back. Bibi Dong's ears and eyes were everywhere in Wuhan City. As soon as the three of them arrived in Wuhan City, the news spread to the Pope's Hall. Greetings to His Holiness the Pope. You two elders have worked hard. Please pay your respects. Master Sister, I am back too. Well, I am glad to be back. Huanger, please sit aside first. I will talk to you after I finish talking to the two elders. Bibi Dong put down the secret report in her hand and said to Huang with a doting face. Okay, Master Sister, then you go ahead. Huang did not care about these things. He sat on the chair next to him and read a book as if no one was around. Not long after, Guan reported the completion of this mission to Bibi Dong. Hearing Guan say that he had persuaded Bo to join the Spirit Hall and become the guest elder of the Spirit Hall, Bibi Dong showed a satisfied smile on her face. You two elders have worked hard this time. You are tired from the journey. You should go down and rest first. Hearing Bibi Dong's order to expel guests, Huang closed the book in his hand and said with a smile, Master Sister, From now on you should change the way you address the second and third masters. Huang, what do you mean by this? Yi Huang's words were somewhat incoherent, and Bibi Dong could not understand what he meant. If Master Sister does not understand, just look carefully at the two masters, and you will understand. Yi Huang did not directly answer Bibi Dong's question. You are just a kid who knows how to play dumb, so Master will take a look first. If I guess wrong, you must remind me. Bibi Dong turned her eyes to Yu Guan and Gui Mai. Well, this. Bibi Dong's originally calm eyes became extremely sharp. The whole person stood up because of excitement. Congratulations to the two elders for being promoted to worshippers. She did not expect that in the 2 months since she went out, Yu Guan and Gui Mai both broke through the 95th level. After confirming again and again, Bibi Dong congratulated Yu Guan and Gui Mai. I wonder what kind of opportunity the two priests got to break through to level 95? You should ask Huang about this question, he has more say. I'll take my leave now. Okay, the two priests, take care. I'll pass this good news to the elders hall tomorrow and ask them to hold a priest promotion ceremony for the two of you. Bibi Dong heard that Yi Huang could answer this question, so she didn't keep Yu Guan and Gui Mai. Huang, how did your two priests break through? Master Sister, when we were chasing Jugubo, we found a treasure land where some fairy grass actually grew. The two masters were able to successfully advance because they ate the fairy grass. Yi Huang told Bibi Dong about the fairy grass without reservation. I didn't expect there was such a treasure in the world. Hearing that Yu Guan and Gui Mai had advanced their soul power with just one fairy grass, Bibi Dong couldn't help but sigh at the magic of the fairy grass. Master Sister, this one is for you. Yi Huang took out a fairy grass with 3 ice blue flowers from the soul guide and handed it to Bibi Dong. Bibi Dong took the fairy grass handed over by Yi Huang, and a light fragrance rushed into her nostrils. In an instant, her already exhausted spirit became clear. What kind of fairy grass is this? It's amazing. Master Sister, this is a 3-leaf kingling flower. The main function is to calm the mind. As long as you eat it, you will avoid the invasion of the inner demon when you practice in the future, and keep a refreshed mental state at any time. This 3-leaf kingling flower was specially selected for Bibi Dong by Yi Huang after careful consideration. Now Bibi Dong's soul power is close to the level of extreme Duo. This is no longer disturbed by other external forces. If she wants to go further, she can only rely on her own perception. Being able to keep a clear mind at any time is her best choice now. This fairy grass should be left for you and Nana to absorb. Chapter 85, Shocked Bibi Dong. Bibi Dong and Yu Guan had the same idea. They both wanted to leave the best things for Yi Huang and Huliina. Master Sister, you don't have to worry about this. I have already absorbed 2 immortal herbs, and the immortal herbs for the junior sister have also been reserved. Why didn't you tell me earlier, kid? Since Nana also has it, I will absorb this immortal herb after I get home to see if it is really as powerful as you said. Bibi Dong was also a little impatient. She obviously felt that her heart could not calm down when she was practicing recently. Now it was just the right time to absorb the immortal herb to verify whether it was as magical as Yi Huang said. Today is the weekend. When Bibi Dong and Yi Huang arrived at the villa, Huliina had already prepared the meal and was waiting for Bibi Dong's return. Since Yi Huang taught Huliina how to cook, Huliina usually cooked when Bibi Dong didn't come back. Squeak! Hearing the sound of the door opening, Huliina hurriedly got up to greet him. Master Sister. Oh, junior brother, you are back. Seeing Yi Huang beside Bibi Dong, Huliina shouted directly. Without paying any attention to Bibi Dong beside her, she ran straight into Yi Huang's arms. Girl, are you ashamed? You are getting more and more courageous. You dare to act like this in front of the master. Lulilu. Master Sister, do you also want to be hugged by junior brother? Then let's do it together. As she said that, Huliina pushed Yi Huang directly into the arms of Bibi Dong who was sitting on the sofa, and then she flew over and wrapped Yi Huang between her and Bibi Dong. Yi Huang kept shaking his head, which made Bibi Dong and Huliina feel flustered. Huang, get up quickly, the food Nana made is getting cold. Yi Huang is not a child anymore. Bibi Dong is now at the age of being as fierce as a wolf. This strange feeling is particularly obvious in her body. Fearing that she would make a fool of herself, she hurriedly urged Yi Huang to get up. Hearing Bibi Dong's words, Huliina, with charming eyes, reluctantly got up from Yi Huang. After dinner, Huliina got close to Yi Huang again. "Junior brother, did you bring me a gift this time?" In the past, Yi Huang used to bring gifts back to Huliina every time he went out. "How could I forget to bring a gift back to my junior sister?" Yi Huang put his left hand around Huliina's tender waist, and said something. With a thought, a green herb appeared in his hand. The herb looked very ordinary, but the strange thing was that in the center of the herb, there were 3 snow-white leaves, and there were a few drops of water in the center of the leaves, just like the dew left in the morning. "Junior brother, you are too insincere. Others give roses to girls, but you fooled me with an unknown little grass." No, you have to compensate me." Huliina acted like a spoiled child in Yi Huang's arms. "Nana, it's not too late to make a decision after Huanger finishes explaining the uses of this herb. If you are still not satisfied after Huanger finishes explaining the uses of this herb, Master is willing to exchange a soul bone with you." "Junior brother, what kind of treasure is this?" Something that can make Bibi Dong willing to exchange a soul bone must be extraordinary. Looking at this seemingly ordinary herb, Huliina couldn't help but take it seriously. The name of this fairy herb is Wang Chunki Ushilu, and after absorbing it, it can greatly increase the spiritual power of the soul master. Huliina's own soul skills are more spiritual, and this fairy herb is obviously more suitable for her. "How about it, Nana, have you decided? Or I will exchange a soul bone with you." After Yi Huang finished explaining the uses of Wang Chunki Ushilu, Bibi Dong next to him began to tease Huliina again. "I won't exchange it. This is given to me by my junior brother. It is his heart. No matter how good the soul bone is, I won't exchange it." Huliina hugged Wang Chunki Ushilu tightly in her arms, shaking her head like a rattle. "Ha ha, hee hee." Huliina's little action made Bibi Dong and Yi Huang laugh again. "Master sister, junior sister, you should absorb the magic grass quickly." Taking advantage of the time now, Yi Huang told the two how to take the 2 magic grasses. Perhaps because of Bibi Dong's high soul power, she absorbed the medicinal power of the magic grass in a cup of tea. "Master sister, how much has your soul power increased?" Seeing Bibi Dong wake up, Yi Huang hurriedly asked. "I feel that my soul power has not increased much, but my heart, which has become impetuous due to cultivation, has become calm." Bibi Dong expressed her feelings. After the incidents of Yu Guan and Gui Mai, Yi Huang had vaguely guessed that the increase in soul power should be closely related to the level of the soul master himself. The higher the soul power level, the less the magic grass strengthens the body. While Yi Huang and Bibi Dong were whispering, Huliina's charm became stronger and stronger. The area of charm gradually expanded from the original 1 meter square to the entire living room. Such a strong charm. Feeling that Huliina's charm had increased several times compared to before, Bibi Dong couldn't help but look forward to how much she would gain this time. After another 2 hours, the charm of Huliina slowly dissipated. "Junior brother, am I beautiful?" Huliina, who had just opened her eyes, said an extremely charming word. "Beautiful." Yi Huang stared at Huliina's eyes, and felt that his mind became blank in an instant, and the whole person was controlled by Huliina. But this was only temporary. When Huliina used her mental power to control Yi Huang, the 3 Magatama Sharingan in Yi Huang's eyes operated automatically and quickly eliminated Huliina's mental power. This made Yi Huang wake up quickly. "Junior sister, your mental power has increased too much. I almost fell into your trap." Yi Huang, who had woken up, couldn't help but admire Huliina's mental power. Seeing Yi Huang's trance for a moment, Huliina's mouth corners rose and she smiled gently. If it were in the past, she couldn't even penetrate Yi Huang's spiritual power. "Junior sister, how many levels has your soul power increased?" "Hee, junior brother, my soul power has increased by 6 levels. This time I finally surpassed you." Huliina's soul power was the same as Yi Huang's, which was level 43 before. This time it increased by 6 levels to level 49. "Oh, really? Junior sister, then you may be disappointed." Yi Huang directly released his soul ring. Soul King. Seeing the 5th soul ring on Yi Huang, Huliina screamed, and even the calm Bibi Dong opened her eyes wide. You know, Yi Huang has only been out for a few months, but his soul power has increased by 10 levels, abnormal. Apart from this word, Bibi Dong and Huliina can't think of any other words to describe Yi Huang's qualifications. Chapter 86, Ice and Fire Soul Bone demonstrates its power. Master Sister, look at what this is. Yi Huang obviously didn't want Bibi Dong to calm down, and wanted to give her a bigger surprise. As he said that, Yi Huang's mind moved, and 2 dazzling lights, one fiery red and one icy blue, lit up on his arms. At the moment the light lit up, a violent and a cold dragon roar came out from the 2 light balls respectively. Soul Bone. Seeing the 2 balls of light, one red and one blue, on Yi Huang's arms, Bibi Dong could no longer bear the surprise in her heart and stood up directly. Because of Yi Huang's second martial soul, Zhuang Tanlong, he could only absorb soul bones of the same level as Zhuang Tanlong. However, such soul bones are too rare. Even if Bibi Dong exhausted her efforts, she couldn't help Yi Huang find one. Unexpectedly, Yi Huang got a suitable soul bone in just 2 months. He got 2 pieces at once, and they were 2 dragon soul bones that matched Yi Huang's martial soul better. Judging from the huge energy emitted by these 2 soul bones, their age must be more than 100,000 years. How could Bibi Dong not be surprised? Huang, where did you get these 2 soul bones? A large amount of fairy grass and 2 rare soul bones. This harvest is really too big. Even Bibi Dong, who has always been calm, is full of curiosity. Master Sister, these 2 soul bones were found at the bottom of the lake of the yin-yang eye of ice and fire where the fairy grass grows. Yi Huang also told Bibi Dong the origin of these 2 soul bones without hiding anything. Legend has it that when the dragon god fought 10,000 years ago, the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King were killed by the God King, and their bodies fell to Douluo continent. It is no coincidence that 2 dragon soul bones with different attributes appeared at the bottom of this lake at the same time. Maybe these 2 soul bones of yours are from the 2 great dragon kings of ice and fire, Bibi Dong said after thinking for a while. In her heart, she had already vaguely guessed the origin of Yi Huang's 2 soul bones. When a whale falls, all things come to life. Only the corpse of the Dragon King can nourish so many fairy grasses on this land. I didn't expect that there is a treasure land comparable to the ancient ruins on this Douluo continent. Huang, come with me to the secret room. I want to see what kind of soul skills these 2 dragon soul bones bring. Nana, you come in too, Bibi Dong said to Yi Huang while marveling at the wonders of nature. Secret room, Master. How about I show my soul skills here? Hearing the word secret room, Yi Huang still had some resistance in his heart, although this secret room was not that secret room. You kid. You probably don't know the power of this 100,000-year soul skill. If you use it here, the whole villa will be ruined by you. As she said, Bibi Dong stretched out a jade finger as white as scallion white and tapped a button in a hidden corner of the living room. Squeaky. As the button was pressed, a wall of the living room actually split from the middle to both sides. A deep cave appeared in front of Yi Huang. Let's go. Bibi Dong walked in first. Huliina followed closely behind, holding Yi Huang's hand. This secret room was built against the mountain, and after a while, a natural cave of thousands of square meters appeared in front of Yi Huang. The entire cave has been specially reinforced, and the simulated environment for testing various soul skills is also very complete. Huang, you can use your soul bone and soul skills on me now. In order to test how powerful Yi Huang's soul bone is, Bibi Dong went on stage herself. Okay, Master Sister, then I will try the soul skills of this Ice Dragon King soul bone first. With that, Yi Huang directly lit up the Ice Dragon King soul bone on his left arm. Extremely cold ice storm. Yi Huang's words just fell. The icy power on the Ice Dragon King soul bone on his left arm instantly erupted. The temperature in the cave also dropped suddenly, and a strong snowstorm raged with his body as the center. This icy power was so strong that at the moment when Yi Huang used his soul skill, even Huliina, who was 50 meters away, felt the biting cold. As the ice and snow raged, pieces of ice crystals directly covered Bibi Dong's body. Such a powerful extreme ice power, It is equivalent to the powerful blow of a soul saint. Feeling the invasion of Yi Huang's soul skills on her body, Bibi Dong couldn't help but sigh again. Sky Ice Dragon Roar. When Bibi Dong was secretly sighing, Yi Huang used the second soul skill of the Ice Dragon King Soul Bone on Bibi Dong. In an instant, a phantom of the Ice Dragon King appeared at the position of Yi Huang's left arm. Go! Yi Huang waved his left hand forward, and the phantom of the Ice Dragon King on his left arm let out a terrifying dragon roar. It broke away from Yi Huang's body, carrying countless huge ice cones and whistling towards the position where Bibi Dong was standing. There is actually an ice-attributed mental attack. When Bibi Dong waved her hand to block the ice cones, she clearly felt an extreme icy force invading her sea of consciousness. It's worthy of the Ice Dragon King Soul Bone skill. The control of ice and snow is too strong. Huang, you recover your soul power first, and then we will continue to test the soul skills of the Fire Dragon King Soul Bone. Although the soul skills of the Ice and Fire Dragon King Soul Bones on Yi Huang's body are powerful, it is also a test for his body. The soul skills of the Ice Dragon King alone have sucked the soul power in Yi Huang's body dry. Okay, Master Sister. Yi Huang didn't care about anything else. He directly used his first soul skill and sat on the ground to recover. Seeing Yi Huang recover his soul power, Hu Yin also hurriedly sat down to practice. Although Yi Huang's soul skill was not aimed at her, in order to resist the aftermath of this ice soul skill, Hu Yin also consumed a lot of soul power. Yi Huang consumed too much soul power this time. Even with the 50% blessing of the first soul skill of Qirong Tong Shanju on his body, it still took him 2 hours of practice to replenish the depleted soul power in his body. Master Sister, it's okay now. Okay, then use the soul skills of your Fire Dragon King Soul Bone. Master Sister, watch this. Yi Huang lit up his Fire Dragon King Soul Bone again. Lava Pillar of Fire. As soon as the voice fell, Yi Huang's Fire Dragon King right arm bone instantly emitted an extremely strong and hot energy. Under the scorching heat, the surrounding air was distorted. Yi Huang's right fist slammed the ground, and the hot lava energy in the air was transmitted into the ground along Yi Huang's right arm, and rushed directly to Bibi Dong's feet. Boom, boom. The hot magma gushed out directly from under Bibi Dong's feet. Bibi Dong waved her right hand, and a gray semicircular shield appeared in front of her, blocking the gushing magma. But what Bibi Dong didn't expect was that as soon as the hot magma touched the gray light shield, a second explosion occurred. The gray light shield shook for a while. Sky Fire Dragon Roar. Just like the Ice Dragon King, a phantom of the Fire Dragon King appeared on Yi Huang's right arm. As Yi Huang's right arm continued to swing, huge fireballs were constantly fired from the mouth of the Fire Dragon King. The gray light shield in front of Bibi Dong was hit and rippled, as if it would collapse at any time. Chapter 87 Hulina's Happy Moment. What a violent soul bone skill. Huang is only a Soul King level soul master now, and the damage of his soul skill can be comparable to that of a soul saint. If his soul power reaches the titled Buo level, how many people in this world can easily escape from him? Feeling the power of Yi Huang's soul skill hitting the gray light shield, Bibi Dong was shocked and secretly looking forward to Yi Huang's bright future. Huang, unless it is absolutely necessary, don't use the soul skills of these 2 soul bones in front of outsiders. These 2 soul bones are so precious that Bibi Dong had to remind them carefully. I know, Master Sister. So far, only you and Little Master Sister have seen these 2 Ice and Fire Dragon King Soul Bones. Even Second Master and Third Master have never seen me use them. Soul Bones are rare in Buo continent. Money can move people's hearts, and it is not uncommon to kill people and dig out bones. Yi Huang, who has always been cautious, will certainly not easily reveal his trump card. Well, it's good that you know it in your heart. Yi Huang's character was mature, so Bibi Dong was quite relieved. I still have some things to deal with in the Pope's palace, so I won't be back tonight. You should go to bed early. A grown-up girl is no longer under the control of her mother. Seeing Hulina's fiery eyes looking at Yi Huang, Bibi Dong didn't want to be a light bulb at home, so she found an excuse to go back to the Pope's palace. Although Yi Huang has now been regarded as a grandson-in-law by the great priest Qian Daliu, Bibi Dong still has no intention of breaking up Huliina and Yi Huang. She doesn't want her experience to repeat itself in her descendants. Besides, there is no concept of monogamy in Luo continent. Which of those noble masters doesn't have 3 wives and 4 concubines? If Yi Huang can treat them both equally, Bibi Dong doesn't mind her daughter and her most beloved apprentice marrying Yi Huang at the same time. Junior brother, you've been out for so many days, have you missed me? Watching Bibi Dong walk out of the house, Huliina walked over with a cat-like step, affectionately, and pushed Yi Huang down on the wide sofa. Then, she rode on Yi Huang's body, and her forehead was tightly pressed against Yi Huang's forehead and gently swayed. Her white and tender hands drew small circles in front of Yi Huang's body. As Huliina's little head swayed, their noses touched from time to time. Huliina is a girl who dares to love and hate. When Bibi Dong was here, she was still a little shy in her heart. Now that Bibi Dong has gone out, she and Yi Huang are the only ones left at home, and she has begun to grow bolder. Of course I do. Feeling the charm emanating from Huliina and the fragrance exhaled from her cherry mouth, Yi Huang's heart was agitated, and the blood flowed much faster than usual. Since he broke the precepts with Yi Lingling, he felt that his self-control was getting worse and worse. What do you want? If you want it that much, you haven't shown it. How can I know how much you want it if you don't express it? Huliina's charming whispering made Yi Huang's blood surge. He could no longer bear this love. He twisted his waist and pressed Huliina directly under him. He put his left hand around Huliina's neck and lowered his head to kiss the beautiful woman's lips. His right hand even covered her buns. For a while, their clothes fell in every corner of the living room. Finally, with Huliina's gentle sitting, she also completed the most important transformation in her life. The next morning, feeling the sunlight outside, Yi Huang slowly woke up from his deep sleep. Looking at Huliina curled up in his arms like a kitten, Yi Huang gently kissed Huliina's forehead and tiptoed to the kitchen. When Yi Huang got out of bed, Huliina also slowly woke up. Fortunately, today is Sunday and there is no class. Yi Huang did nothing at home all day, just simply accompanied Huliina. When he started to go back to the academy the next day, after confirming that Huliina's body was indeed not inconvenient, the two had a simple breakfast and then went to the school hand in hand. Yi Huang sent Huliina to the door of her classroom in a high-profile manner, and after saying hello to several other familiar soul masters, he turned and walked towards his own classroom. Of course, before that, Yi Huang did not forget to ask Huliina to bring a fairy grass to Ziyu, his brother-in-law. According to the regulations of the Wuhan Hall Academy, soul masters can apply for graduation as long as their soul power reaches level 40. Yi Huang's current soul power has long exceeded the graduation soul power level stipulated by the academy, but in order to stay with a few good buddies for a few more days, he still wants to wait until he leaves school. When Yi Huang opened the door and walked into the classroom, several good buddies in the dormitory had already started a day's training. Old Four, you're back. Fourth brother. Seeing Yi Huang come in, the four stopped practicing and surrounded him. Although Yi Huang had fewer and fewer opportunities to meet them, it did not affect their relationship. Old Four, you only come back once every 2 months. Have you forgotten us brothers? Tang San stepped forward and gently hit Yi Huang's chest with his fist. Second brother. What do you mean by that? Am I the kind of ungrateful person? Except for women, when have I ever forgotten my brothers for other benefits? Compared with the flattery of other people in the Golden Generation team, Yi Huang still prefers to be free with his buddies in the dormitory. Old Four, what you said is right, Hu Yanzhen echoed. Over the years, these brothers in the dormitory have indeed gained a lot of benefits from Yi Huang, although they never said it. The four of them remembered it deeply in their hearts. Old Four, the colorful world outside is too exciting. You can't be blinded by it and slack off in your cultivation. Zhu Zin, who has always been steady, was afraid that Yi Huang would lose himself, so he persuaded him. Don't worry, third brother, I have never given up practicing. If you don't believe me, look at my soul power level. In order to prove that he was not slacking off, Yi Huang directly showed his soul ring in front of everyone. Fuck. Nima. Oh my god. Fuck. Seeing the deep fifth soul ring on Yi Huang, Even the usually steady Zhu Zin couldn't help but burst out with swear words. 2 months ago, they still vaguely remembered that Huang went to hunt for the 4th soul ring, but they didn't expect that 2 months later, he even had the 5th soul ring. 4th brother, did you get some treasures that can improve your soul power again? With the previous experience of Whale Glue, Tang San, who came from a well-educated family, guessed the key point at once. I did get some treasures. These treasures can not only quickly improve soul power, but may also enhance the body or martial spirit in some way. Chapter 88, Sharing happiness is worse than enjoying it alone. The immortal herbs are dead things, and they can only show their value after being used. The people present are good buddies who have been with him for several years, and Huang has no intention of keeping them to himself. The inheritance of the gods in Luo continent requires the help of teammates to complete. Only when their soul power is improved can Huang's next plan be implemented smoothly. Old 4 is mighty, long live 4th brother. As soon as Huang finished speaking, the moral integrity of Hu Yanzhen, Tang San, Zhu Zin and Yang Poden was shattered again, and they turned into licking dogs again. They were busy serving again, kneading shoulders, beating legs, pouring tea, and handing out fruits. In their own words, it is not shameful to use their own labor to exchange for the treasures in Huang's hands. Although such things are childish, the 6 people repeat them tirelessly. This has also become Huang's unique treatment after getting good things. While enjoying the service, Huang certainly would not forget to reward these hard-working brothers. Boss Huan, this is the sharp golden branch. Swallowing the whole branch can enhance your attack power. Huang handed a golden, flowerless and leafless fairy grass from the soul guide to Huan Zan. Huan Zan's martial soul, the golden diamond mammoth, is known for its defense, and the sharp golden branch can better make up for the defect of his martial soul's insufficient attack. Thanks, 4th brother. Hearing the effect of this fairy grass that Huang said, Huan Zan walked to the side with joy, sat cross-legged, and absorbed this fairy grass according to the method of taking taught by Huang. 4th brother, where's mine? Where's mine? Seeing that the eldest brother Huan Zan got the fairy grass, the 2nd brother Tang San couldn't wait to come over. Huang's mind moved, and he took out another gray fairy grass with black smoke surrounding its leaves from the soul guide again. 2nd brother, this is the demon-breaking grass. After taking it, it can increase the tearing effect of your crocodile claws. Note that when taking it, you must first use your nose to inhale the black smoke into your lungs, then eat the leaves, and finally eat the entire rhizome. 3rd brother, this is the meteoric star grass. It can help you absorb the star power at night more quickly. For the 3rd time, Huang took out a fairy grass with star-shaped flowers from the soul guide and handed it to Zhu Zin. Seeing that the other 3 had already begun to absorb the fairy grass, Huang took out a purple Ganoderma-like fairy grass from the soul guide. 5th brother, this is the 9th gray dragon Ganoderma. The medicinal effect of this 9th gray dragon Ganoderma may not be as obvious as that of the other brothers, but it may break the curse of your Po Yi clan not having the titled Buo. This 9th gray dragon Ganoderma is as hard as steel and cannot be taken directly. You need to release soul power into its body first, wait for it to soften slowly, tear it into small pieces and swallow it into your stomach for absorption. Thank you. 4th brother, Yang Poten took the 9th gray dragon Ganoderma from Huang's hands respectfully with both hands. Okay, you should find a quiet corner to absorb it like the other brothers. I'll give you a few guardians. Huang patted Yang Wudi's shoulders and gestured. 4th brother, I don't want to absorb this immortal grass. Yang Poten said to Huang hesitantly. What's wrong? 5th brother, several brothers have started to absorb the immortal grass. Why don't you absorb it? Huang looked at Yang Poten with a puzzled face. Don't worry, the immortal grass I gave you will not have any side effects, and it will definitely not hinder your future cultivation. Huang thought Yang Poten had some concerns, and hurriedly explained. No. 4th brother, you misunderstood, that's not what I meant. Yang Poten swung his right hand left and right in front of him at a very fast speed, and explained anxiously. Then what do you mean? Huang's heart was even more confused. I I want to leave this immortal grass for Grandpa to absorb. Yang Poten lowered his head in shame, and said the real thoughts in his heart with an embarrassed face. You kid, I know you are filial, you don't have to worry about the teacher's magic grass, I have prepared it long ago. In order to reassure Yang Poten, Huang's mind moved, and he took out another 9th grade dragon Ganoderma that was exactly the same as the one in Yang Poten's hand from the soul guide. Can I sit down and absorb it now? Thank you. 4th brother, I will absorb it right away. Looking at the other 9th grade dragon Ganoderma in Huang's hand, Yang Poten replied happily. Of course, he also wanted to absorb the magic grass in his hand, but he restrained his desire for Yang Wushwang. Now that his worries were lifted, he hurriedly sat on the ground and absorbed the magic grass in his hand according to the method taught by Huang. When Hu Yanzhen, Zhu Zin, Danshan and Yang Poten absorbed the magic grass, Yang Wushwang also walked into the classroom. Huang, when did you come back? What kind of pills did you develop this time? Huang had been learning the art of refining medicine from him. Now Huang's refining skills were no less than his own. In recent years, almost all the pills for strengthening the body in the academy were made by Huang, so Yang Wushwang was not worried about his students' bodies being harmed. Teacher, you are here, this is for you. Seeing Yang Wushwang coming in, Huang hurriedly took out another 9th grade dragon Zi from his soul guide and handed it over. This is the 9th grade dragon Zi. Seeing the dragon-shaped herb handed over by Huang, which was full of strong purple, Yang Wushwang's eyes shrank suddenly and recognized the origin of this fairy grass at a glance. These years of imprisonment made Yang Wushwang use all his energy to cultivate soul power and refine medicine. After 5 years of undivided attention and unremitting practice, he had cultivated his soul power to level 89 as early as a year ago. But in the following year, his soul power did not increase at all, just like the 7 treasure-glazed pagoda, whose soul power can only be cultivated to level 79 at most, and the 9-heart begonia martial soul, which is always passed down from one line to another. The Po Yi clan is also born with an invisible 10,000-year soul ring, which makes it even more difficult for them to break through to the realm of titled Duo. After 10,000 years of exploration and research, the predecessors of the Po Yi clan concluded that the 9-ranked Dragon Z, which has the miraculous effect of rebirth, can make their dreams come true. Change the current situation that the Po Yi clan cannot become titled Duo. Over the years, the Po Yi clan has traveled all over the Duo continent to find the 9-ranked dragons. However, the growth environment required for the 9-ranked dragons is too harsh. Only the nutrients on the dragon horns of dead dragons can make it grow. Since the Dragon God War, even the sub-dragon soul beasts in the entire Duo continent have become extremely rare, let alone dragons. Yang Wushwang originally thought that he would never have the opportunity to break through to the titled Duo in his lifetime. Unexpectedly, Huang gave him a big surprise as soon as he came back. Huang, thank you. Yang Wushwang took out the best jade box from the soul guide and carefully placed the 9th grade dragon Ganoderma inside. This immortal herb carries the hope of the Po Yi clan, and he cannot afford to make any mistakes. Teacher, aren't you going to absorb it now? Seeing Yang Wushwang solemnly put away the 9th grade dragon Ganoderma, Huang's face showed a puzzled look. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89 Yang Wushwang breaks through titled Duo. I'm old. It's more appropriate to leave this 9th grade dragon Zi for Poten to absorb. Yang Wushwang took a deep breath, suppressed the desire in his heart, and said solemnly, there is only one immortal grass, and he thinks that Yang Poten can maximize the value of the 9th grade dragon Zi by absorbing it. Haha, teacher, this is reserved for you. They all have it. Didn't you see that they have already started to absorb it? Huang pointed at Hu Yanzhen and others who were sitting cross-legged on the ground and said to Yang Wudi. When Yang Wushwang came in, several people had already started to absorb the immortal grass, so he thought that they were just simply cultivating their soul power. Well, you mean, They also absorb the 9th grade dragons. Yang Huang asked hurriedly. That's not the case. There are only 2 9th grade dragons, one for you and Poten. Huang changed his tone and continued. Although they didn't absorb the 9th grade dragons, they are also immortal grasses of the same level as the 9th grade dragons absorb. As soon as Huang's light words came out, Yang Huang couldn't help but take a breath of cold air in his heart. Huang, have you found the ancient ruins? In Yang Huang's mind, only those ancient ruins with a long history can produce so many fairy herbs at once. Teacher, I didn't find the ancient ruins, but I found a place where a giant dragon fell, and these fairy herbs all came from there. Huang didn't hide anything. The place where a giant dragon fell, no wonder there are so many fairy herbs at once. You are so lucky. Yang Huang sighed at Huang's great fortune. In the past few days, you helped me take care of them, and I will find a place to absorb this 9th grade dragon fungus. Since he no longer needs to worry about his grandson, there is no need to suppress the desire in Yang Huang's heart. Becoming a titled Buo is the lifelong pursuit of every soul master, and Yang Huang is no exception. Teacher, you can absorb it with confidence. I will definitely keep an eye on them. Okay, then I'm leaving. After getting Huang's assurance, Yang Huang did not stay, and his figure flashed and he went out of the classroom directly. As time passed, the martial spirits of the 4 people who were absorbing the immortal grass on the ground began to change slowly. The 2 thickened white tusks in the mouth of the golden diamond mammoth behind Hu Yanzhen have now turned golden. 2 cold rays of about an inch are extended at the tip of the tusks. Tang San's martial spirit, the claws of the golden crocodile king, have been surrounded by a strange black smoke since I don't know when. The gems on the star crown on Zhu Xin's head could only store soul power on a starry night, but since he took the meteorite grass, the gems on the star crown have begun to slowly store soul power in broad daylight. The appearance of the soul-breaking gun that Yang Poten stretched across his legs has not changed much, but the gun intent emanating from the soul-breaking gun is becoming more and more terrifying, and is even accompanied by bursts of dragon roars. After another 2 hours, Hu Yanzhen, who was the first to absorb the immortal grass, woke up from his practice. Judging from the joy on his face, he had gained a lot. 4th brother, Hu Yanzhen jumped up and walked quickly to Huang's side, wanting to share his joy with Huang as soon as possible. Seeing Hu Yanzhen's reaction, Huang hurriedly made a gesture to keep quiet, and then pointed at the other people who were still absorbing the power of the medicine. Hu Yanzhen, who understood Huang's meaning, hurriedly covered his mouth, fearing that his voice would disturb the other people's practice. Not long after, the other people woke up from their practice one after another. How do you feel, brothers? Seeing that everyone woke up, Huang walked up to them with a smile and asked them how they felt. Awesome, so fucking awesome. This speed of practice feels like riding on a soaring kun. Brother, how many levels have you upgraded? I upgraded this number. Hearing Huang's question, Hu Yanzhen excitedly stretched out his right hand, spread out his 5 fingers and shook them in front of everyone. 2nd brother, how about you? Like the eldest brother, I have also improved my soul power by 5 levels, and my soul power is now level 38. Me too. Without waiting for Huang to ask, the 3rd brother Zhu Xin also directly reported his gains this time. 5th brother, how about you? Huang turned his head and asked Yang Poten, who was silent beside him. 4th brother, my aptitude is not as good as the other brothers. It seems that I have only improved by 4 levels. Yang Poten said frustratedly. Silly boy, this is not a problem of your aptitude. Most of the medicinal power of this 9th grade dragon fungus is stored in your body. It can only take effect when you break through to the titled Buo. Only a small part of it is absorbed by you. So your soul power is 1 level less than that of your brothers. So that's how it is. I thought it was because my aptitude was not as good as that of my brothers. Hearing Huang's explanation, the frustration on Yang Poten's face slowly disappeared. Now Hu Yanzhen, Tang San and Zhu Xin's soul power has reached level 38, and the youngest Yang Poten's soul power has also reached level 37. If nothing unexpected happens, they can all become soul masters of the soul sect level when they are 12 years old. As long as nothing unexpected happens, It is only a matter of time for these people to become titled Buo, old 4. Hasn't teacher Yang come back yet? Several people wanted to share this joy with Yang Huang, who has been educating them. Teacher Yang is absorbing the fairy grass just like you. Although everyone has absorbed the fairy grass, there is still some medicinal power in your body that has not been fully refined. Now is not the time to be lazy. You should strike while the iron is hot and refine all the medicinal power scattered in your body. Several people originally followed Yi Huang's lead. After hearing Yi Huang's words, they all returned to their respective positions and practiced as hard as usual. Yi Huang's current soul power has far exceeded the golden generation of the Spirit Hall. If he continues to follow Ziyu and others to hunt down the evil soul masters of the soul sect, it will be meaningless. Yang Huang was still in seclusion, so Yi Huang simply stayed to practice with his good brother. As time went by, Yi Huang practiced every day and sat with Hulina in the sunset, talking about love. One day, when Yi Huang and the other 5 were sparring with each other, an extremely powerful mental pressure suddenly broke out and instantly enveloped the sky above the Wuhan Hall Academy. The students in the academy felt that their spirits suddenly became heavy, and the students with weak soul power were shocked by the pressure and collapsed to the ground. Fortunately, this terrifying mental pressure came and went quickly, otherwise it would leave an indelible shadow in the childhood of many students. The terrifying pressure had just dissipated, and before the teachers of the academy could find out the truth, a gun intention that no one else could do it rose up instantly. Chapter 90 Old Acquaintance. A group of birds flying over the academy were swept by the sudden spear intent, and immediately turned into small pieces of meat, falling from mid-air to the ground. This terrifying spear intent lasted for several breaths before slowly dissipating in the air. Teacher Yang has made a breakthrough. Yi Huang, who was sharp in his mental power, instantly locked onto the source of this huge spear intent. Let's go and take a look. Hearing that it was their teacher Yang Huang who had made a breakthrough, several people no longer had the heart to practice, and excitedly ran towards Yang Huang's residence. Congratulations to teacher Yang for becoming a titled Buo. Congratulations, Grandpa has become a titled Buo. Seeing Yang Huang in the residence, everyone stepped forward and congratulated him in unison. Thank you. This time I was able to break through thanks to Yi Huang's fairy grass. Yang Huang's rigid face rarely showed a smile. Since Yang Huang's soul power broke through to level 90, the sharp spear intent on his body has disappeared. He stood there quietly, with no difference from an ordinary old man. When everyone was happily surrounding Yang Huang, his face suddenly became serious. I'm going to go out for a while. Let's talk again when we come back. Without waiting for everyone to reply, Yang Huang leaped into the air and flew directly out of the Spirit Hall Academy. In the past, Yang Huang was not allowed to leave the Spirit Hall Academy. Now that he dared to fly directly out of the Spirit Hall Academy, it was obvious that he had just received a message from some important person. Since Yang Huang had something important to do, it was meaningless for everyone to stay here, so they turned around and went back to the classroom to continue practicing. 2 hours later, Yi Huang, who was practicing soul power, heard Yang Huang's voice. Yi Huang, come to my residence. Hearing the voice, Yi Huang opened his eyes, did not wake up others, and gently got up and walked out. Since Yang Huang did not call others and only used the secret method of voice transmission to wake him up, it was obvious that he did not want others to know the content of their conversation. When Yi Huang walked to Yang Huang's dormitory, he was already waiting there. What surprised Yi Huang was that his second master Yu Guan was chatting and laughing with Yang Huang. Teacher Yang, greetings to Elder Yu Guan. Yi Huang didn't know how much Yang Huang knew about his identity, so he could only pretend to be unfamiliar with Yu Guan. Should I call you Yi Huang, or His Highness the Holy Sun? Seeing Yi Huang pretending to salute Yu Guan, Yang Huang showed a half-smile on his face. This Yang Huang's words made Yi Huang not know how to continue the conversation. Haha, Huanger, stop acting, old Yang already knew your identity. Seeing Yi Huang standing there awkwardly, Yu Guan came out to smooth things over with concern. Hey, second master, why didn't you tell me earlier that you knew teacher Yang? Yi Huang complained to Yu Guan and quickly turned around to apologize to Yang Wushwang. Please forgive me, Mr. Yang. Yi Huang has not disclosed his identity because he has no choice. After all, no matter what the reason is, it is not a glorious thing to conceal one's identity. Moreover, Yang Wushwang has treated him as his own son and nephew for these years. You don't need to apologize, kid. I got the title of Buo because of you. Yu Guan and I have been friends for more than 20 years. His apprentice is my apprentice. Only then did Yi Huang understand why Yang Wushwang agreed without hesitation when he wanted to learn alchemy from him. It turned out that there was such a relationship between them. I don't know what the two elders want me to do. It's nothing big. I just want you and Lao Yang to get to know each other again. Lao Yang is already an elder of the Spirit Hall, and he is titled Wushwang. Tomorrow morning, your third master and I will go to the Xingdu Great Forest with Lao Yang to find a suitable ninth soul ring. Yu Guan certainly couldn't stand idly by when his friend needed to hunt for the ninth soul ring. In order to ensure safety, he even invited Gui Mai to help. With Yu Guan and Gui Mai's current combat power, even hunting a 100,000-year-old soul beast is no problem. Teacher, are you planning to hunt the Titan giant ape in the depths of the Xingdu Great Forest? Yu Guan did not doubt that Yi Huang knew about the Titan giant ape. After all, Yi Huang was Bibi Dong's apprentice and Qian Daoyu's designated grandson-in-law, so it was not surprising that he knew these things. You kid, you think too highly of us, Yu Guan continued with an embarrassed face. These 100,000-year soul beasts are not so easy to hunt. They belong to the high-end combat power of soul beasts. If you hunt one of them, it is equivalent to being enemies with the soul beasts over 10,000 years old in the entire Xingdu Great Forest. Don't think that these soul beasts often fight and kill each other. When the time comes, they will launch fearless attacks to protect the 100,000-year soul beasts, and even launch a huge beast tide to harass human settlements. So before they are sure of hitting the target with one shot, even the Wuhan Hall dare not easily provoke these 100,000-year soul beasts. Teacher, can I go with you? I want to go to Tandu City on the way. Anyway, they are self-taught wherever they go, and Yi Huang wants to take this opportunity to send the fairy grass for Yi Lingaling. Well, that's fine. When you hunt soul beasts, just be careful. How could Yu Guan not understand his apprentice's little thoughts? Although Yi Huang's soul power is still very weak, as long as he is not facing a 100,000-year soul beast, Yu Guan and Gui Mai are still confident that they can protect his safety. Thank you, second master. I'll go back and pack my luggage first. Hearing Yu Guan agree to his request, Yi Huang did not delay any longer. He said goodbye to the two elders and ran directly to the back mountain of the Spirit Hall Academy. Yi Huang said that packing luggage was fake, and saying goodbye to Huliina was real. Yi Huang thought about confessing Yi Lingaling's affairs to Huliina before leaving. He trotted all the way to the hillside where he watched the sunset with Huliina every day. Looking at Huliina sitting on the edge of the cliff, hugging her knees, bathing in the golden sunset, Yi Huang couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. He quietly walked forward and hugged Huliina into his arms. Feeling the familiar smell, Huliina couldn't help but shrink her body into Yi Huang's arms. Little senior sister, I'm going out with second master tomorrow. I'll be back in a month at least, and 2 months at most. Yi Huang broke the silence. Where are you going? You've just been back for less than a month and you're going out again? Huliina muttered reluctantly. I'm going to Tandu City to give a magical herb to a girl. Yi Huang didn't beat around the bush this time. Since he had done it, he should face it bravely. As soon as Yi Huang's words came out, he clearly felt Huliina's body suddenly stiffen. Is it the girl named Yi Lingaling? You, how do you know? Second master told me a long time ago. Then why didn't you say it earlier? I didn't say it because I hoped you would tell me in person. These days, Huliina looked the same as usual, but she was anxiously waiting for Yi Huang to explain to her in person. Fortunately, Yi Huang did not let her down. Chapter 91 Soul Beast Appears. The words from Huliina's mouth made Yi Huang feel uncomfortable. Junior sister, I'm sorry, Yi Huang's words were not finished when Huliina covered his mouth with her jade hand. Let's not say sorry between the two of us. Besides, you haven't done anything to make me feel sorry. Everything is my own will. as long as you don't hide anything from me in the future. Huliina stared at Yi Huang and said softly. She knew in her heart that as long as the one in the worship hall was still alive, the position of Yi Huang's wife would never be hers. Instead of this, it would be better for Yi Huang to have more concubines, so that if he really had a problem with that person's granddaughter in the future, he would not have to fight alone. I promise that I will never hide anything from you in the future. Yi Huang quickly extended his right hand to Huliina to assure her. Yi Huang said what he had been suppressing in his heart, and was forgiven by Huliina, and he felt much more relaxed. It was already late, and it was already past the mealtime in the canteen of the Spirit Hall Academy. Yi Huang simply set up a tent on the top of the mountain, took out the cooking utensils and ingredients from the soul guide and prepared to make a fine dinner for Huliina. Little senior sister, what do you want to eat? I'll cook it for you tonight. Can I really eat anything? Huliina walked to the newly set up tent and asked Yi Huang happily. Of course. You are the queen today, you can eat whatever you want. Yi Huang put down the work in his hands and looked at Huliina affectionately. What should I do if I want to eat you now? A voice that made people imagine infinitely came out of Huliina's cherry mouth. Looking at the charming Huliina biting her lips with pearly teeth in front of him, Yi Huang's throat couldn't help swallowing saliva, and a hot heat quickly rose from the bottom of his heart. I am happy to serve you, my queen. Yi Huang invited Huliina to walk into the tent like a gentleman, and lowered the curtain of the tent with his right hand. After a rustling sound, bursts of joyful calls suddenly came from the tent. The next morning, fearing that others would find anything unusual, the two got up early and cleaned up the traces on the ground. After cleaning up the battlefield, Huliina walked down the mountain with the weak Yi Huang in high spirits. As soon as the two walked down the mountain, they met Yu Guan, Gui Mai and Yang Wushwang, who were waiting for Yi Huang to go out at the gate of the Wuhan Hall Academy. Second Master, Third Master, Teacher Yang, good morning. The two had no choice but to bite the bullet and walk up to greet them. Yi Huang, Nana, why did you two come down from the mountain? Seeing that the two actually came from outside the academy, Yu Guan asked with a puzzled look on his face. Huliina hesitated and didn't know how to answer Yu Guan's question. She couldn't tell him that the two had shamelessly played on the mountain all night. My little sister and I got up early in the morning to practice on the mountain. Yi Huang, who was as thick-skinned as a city wall, answered slowly and calmly as an old dog. Yes, we went to the mountain to exercise. Huliina also hurriedly agreed. Yi Huang did not lie to Yu Guan. He and Huliina did go to the mountain to exercise. As for what to exercise, what to use to exercise, and what effect was achieved, that is another matter. Oh, you should also pay attention to rest more in the future. You can't just focus on cultivation and ignore your overloaded body. Yu Guan did not find out what the two were doing. Looking at the dark circles under Yi Huang's eyes, he kindly advised him to pay more attention to rest. Hearing Yu Guan's advice, Huliina on the side almost laughed out loud. Second Master, Third Master, Teacher Yang, I will go back to the academy first. I will leave my junior brother to you. Fearing that she would reveal any flaws if she stayed any longer, Huliina hurriedly said goodbye to the three people and walked back to the Wuhan Hall Academy step by step. Huanger, it's still early. You should go to the carriage to catch up on your sleep first. Okay, Second Master. I was too tired last night. Although Huliina said that she didn't mind, she was still busy all night when she heard Yi Huang say that he was going to deliver the immortal grass to Yiling. After entering the carriage, Yi Huang, who was overworked, lay down casually in the corner of the carriage. When he woke up, it was already the next morning. In order to reach the Xingdu Great Forest faster, Yu Guan and the other two took turns driving the carriage, and finally arrived at the supply town outside the Xingdu Great Forest a few days later. The most sold items in the supply station are weapons, protective gear and poison. These things are still useful for those soul masters who need to hunt the first soul ring. But for those soul masters who hunt high-age soul beasts, these items are a bit useless. Yu Guan and the other three had already discussed on the way that the age of the soul beasts to be hunted this time must be at least 70,000 years. Such soul beasts are also very rare in the Xingdu Great Forest. Soul beasts over 50,000 years old have already had high intelligence, and even the scouts in the Wuhan Hall can no longer lock the traces of these soul beasts in advance. The four people's soul guides were filled with food and water, and they were ready for a long-term battle. Everything was ready, and everyone accelerated and ran towards the Xingdu Great Forest 20 miles away. After entering the Xingdu Great Forest, the four people did not stop at the periphery, and went directly to the central area of the Xingdu Great Forest. Although the central area of the Xingdu Great Forest is very small compared to the entire forest, the four people have been searching in this area for more than 10 days, and they have only found half of the central area. In these 3 days, everyone also found several soul beasts that are more than 70,000 years old, but most of them are some defensive or auxiliary soul beasts, which are not suitable for Yang Wang's soul-breaking gun. Old Yang, why don't we look for it in the north? Seeing that they were getting closer and closer to the core area of the Xingdu Great Forest, Huang suggested that everyone change the direction to search. Okay, listen to you, let's change the direction to search. Just when the four people were about to turn around, the sound of rapid flapping wings reached everyone's ears. Everyone be careful, there is no incompetent person who dares to make a sound in this area. When Huang and Gaimai protected Huang between them, Yang Wang directly summoned his martial soul, the soul-breaking spear. 8 soul rings, 1 yellow, 2 purple and 4 black, suddenly appeared on his body, and the terrifying pressure spread all around. If it were normal, once Yang Wang's majesty was released, those weak soul beasts would actively avoid it. But this soul beast didn't seem to be afraid of Yang Wang's momentum. When it felt this pressure, it even sped up and ran towards the place where everyone was standing. The rustling sound was getting closer and closer. Everyone followed the sound and saw a green-gray soul beast revealing its figure from behind a dense tree. Chapter 92 Hunting the Extreme Shadow Mantis. Huang raised his head and carefully looked at this bold soul beast. The soul beast was about 4 meters long, with 2 1-meter-long tentacles on its triangular head. Its 2 big round eyes were rolling around, constantly looking back and forth at everyone. Its mouth was also constantly moving, and between opening and closing, it spewed out a strong bloody smell. The thin neck was connected to a big round belly, and on the left and right dividing lines of the belly there was a row of shiny dots like buttons. 2 pairs of abdominal feet with long thorns pierced deeply into the big tree beside it to stabilize its body. A pair of great translucent wings on its back had already opened. A pair of sharp serrated swords with a cold glow were across its chest. It was ready to attack Yang Wang at any time. This is a 90,000-year-old extreme shadow mantis. Old Yang, your spirit ring has been found. Huang stared at the 9 light spots on the extreme shadow mantis abdomen and shouted to Yang Wang with joy. The age of the extreme shadow mantis is determined by the number of light spots on its abdomen. 1 light spot represents 10,000 years. Now the extreme shadow mantis abdomen has 9 light spots, and the 10th one is almost half filled with light. The extreme shadow mantis is called the swordsman among soul beasts by soul masters. The 2 swords in front of it not only have extremely fast attack speed, but also have excellent power. It just fits with Yang Wang's martial spirit, the soul-breaking spear. Swish! The extreme shadow mantis wings rubbed quickly, making bursts of harsh buzzing sounds, trying to drive everyone out of its territory through noise. If Yang Wang was the only one at the scene, the extreme shadow mantis would have attacked him long ago. But the instinct of soul beasts made the extreme shadow mantis feel a strong threat from Huang and Gui Mai, who had never opened their martial spirits. Old chrysanthemum, don't make a move yet. Let me go up and see how good this guy is. Yang Wang hadn't made a move for a long time. When he encountered such a soul beast, his hands couldn't help but feel a little itchy. The moment Yang Wang held a soul-breaking spear with both hands, he seemed to have changed into a different person. The high will to fight and the strong killing intent slowly spread out from his body to the surroundings at the same time. All the interference in the surrounding environment was automatically shielded, and the spirit of the whole body was focused on the iron spear in his hand. At this time, there was only the soul-breaking spear in his eyes, nothing else. At this time, Yang Wang had interpreted the essence of a spearman to the extreme. Kill, kill, Kill! 3 shouts of fighting spirit came out of Yang Wang's mouth. The soul-breaking spear in his hand carried an extremely sharp and terrifying aura and pierced directly into the body of the extreme shadow mantis. Hiss! Looking at Yang Wang, who was running straight towards him, the extreme shadow mantis felt that his dignity was challenged. He spread his wings, swung his 2 swords suddenly, and rushed forward at a very fast speed. Ding ding ding, dang dang dang. A series of rapid metal clashes came from the 2 swords of the extreme shadow mantis and Yang Wang's soul-breaking spear. After a brief exchange, the man and the beast flew backwards at the same time. The surrounding trees were broken one after another. What a terrifying force! What a fast sword speed! An inch longer, an inch stronger, an inch shorter, an inch more dangerous. The soul-breaking spear was famous for its extreme attack, but after a fight, Yang Wang didn't gain any advantage over the extreme shadow mantis. Come again! Yang Wang, who was repelled, kicked his legs and attacked again with his spear. Shock, crack, explode. The soul rings on Yang Wang's body were constantly lit up. One shot after another collided with the sword of the extreme shadow mantis. Sparks flew everywhere. The piercing roars echoed in the forest again. The weaker soul beasts in the surrounding area were frightened and quickly restrained their breath and found a hidden place to hide their bodies. The essence of the soul-breaking spear is to fight more bravely. With each attack, Yang Wang's spirit and energy gradually reached the peak. The soul skills poured down like a storm, and scars slowly appeared on the body of the extreme shadow mantis. Yang Wang's soul skills have multiple combinations, each of which has unexpected effects. Under these fast and changeable combination skills, the extreme shadow mantis's eyes clearly had a trace of timidity. The 90,000-year-old soul beast has wisdom that is no less than that of humans. Seeing that it can't get an advantage, it deliberately exposed a flaw and prepared to escape. Bang! Yang Wang didn't doubt him. Seeing the flaw, he swept out with the spear in his hand without thinking. Seeing that it was about to hit, the extreme shadow mantis actually touched the spear with its abdomen, flapped its wings, and flew directly into the air with the momentum of the soul-breaking spear. Fuck, I got tricked. Seeing the flying extreme shadow mantis, Yang Wang realized that he had been fooled. He had not yet obtained the spirit ring, so he was not a real titled Buo, and he could not have the ability to float like other titled Buo. Although he could use the explosive period of his body to bounce into the air, he could not cause any damage to the extreme shadow mantis. Hiss, hiss, hiss. The flying extreme shadow mantis made a series of mocking hisses from its mouth, waving its wings and preparing to escape from this area. Want to run? 2-level stillness. How could Huang and Gaimai, who were waiting nearby, let the cook duck escape? The 2 of them directly performed the martial soul fusion skill 2 polar stillness field. Under the martial soul fusion skill of the 2-level stillness field, the extreme shadow mantis had no room for resistance at all. In an instant, its body, which was about to spread its wings and fly, was fixed in the air. Thank you for your help. Looking at the extreme shadow mantis that was suspended in the air, Yang Wang swung his right hand vigorously, and the thick soul-breaking spear in his hand flew out of his hand, carrying the terrifying spear intent and piercing directly into the head of the extreme shadow mantis. Bang! Boom! With one shot, the triangular head of the extreme shadow mantis made a dull sound and was directly exploded into meat dregs. The extreme shadow mantis was dead, and Huang and Gaimai also put away their martial soul fusion skills. As the domain disappeared, the headless extreme shadow mantis also fell down. After a while, a bright black soul ring with a hint of enchanting red slowly appeared above the corpse of the extreme shadow mantis. Looking at this black and red soul ring, Yang Wang's heart was also very excited. As long as he absorbed this soul ring, he would truly become a member of the top of the Soul Master Pyramid. He took a deep breath, suppressed his inner excitement, sat down quickly, and guided the soul ring to slowly fit on his body. It would take a long time for Yang Wang to absorb the 9th soul ring. With Huang and Gaimai guarding here, Huang, who had nothing to do, set up a tent and practiced inside. After an unknown amount of time, Huang was awakened by the terrifying aura outside the tent. He quickly walked out of the tent and saw that Yang Huang had a dazzling soul ring with black and red on his body. This also marked that Yang Huang officially became a member of the titled Buo. Chapter 93 Lingaling's Misunderstanding. Old Yang, what kind of soul skill did this extreme shadow mantis give you? Yu Guan asked curiously when he saw Yang Huang stood up excitedly. The name of my ninth soul skill is Soul Breaking Extreme Shadow Kill. As long as I light up the ninth soul ring, I can condense hundreds of soul-breaking spears at once, and each soul-breaking spear can have 80% of my own strength, and half of these soul-breaking spears directly attack the opponent's soul. Asking others about their soul skills is taboo among soul masters, but Yu Guan and Yang Huang have been friends for decades, and if it weren't for Yu Guan and Gui Mai's help this time, he would not have been able to kill this extreme shadow mantis. So Yang Huang said his soul skill without even a moment's hesitation. This is too amazing. Hearing Yang Huang's words, Yu Guan shouted enviously. Other people's soul skills are either mainly physical attacks or mental attacks, but Yang Huang's soul skill is a two-pronged approach. This is also thanks to the help of the two martial soul fusion skills. Otherwise, this extreme shadow mantis was forced to choose to self-destruct, and I really had no way to deal with it. Yang Huang thanked Yu Guan and Gai Mai again. Alas, Lai Yang, you are so polite. We are family, so don't say two things. Yang Huang became a titled Buo, and Yu Guan and Gai Mai were also very happy. Although the two of them became the worshippers of the Wuhan Hall, they were still excluded by the other titled Luos. Now with the addition of Yang Huang, their voice in the Elder Hall has also increased a lot. Yang Huang's hunting of spirit rings has been completed, and everyone did not hesitate. They packed up the tent and walked to the outskirts of the starred Great Forest. When they came here, they walked very slowly because they were looking for spirit beasts. On the way back, everyone went at full speed and left the starred Great Forest in less than a day. When they arrived at the town where they had replenished food and water before, they found a hotel to take a shower and have a meal, and then hurried back. The roads were different, so the four people split into two groups and left here. Gui Mai and Yang Huang went directly back to Wuhan City. Yu Guan and Yi Huang hired another carriage to Tandu City. As a soul master, one should be able to endure loneliness. Yi Huang did a good job in this regard. He practiced seriously as soon as he got on the carriage. The journey of several days was soon over. Yi Lingaling now lives in the prince's mansion and has become Qian Renxu's specially hired secretary. Yi Huang got off the carriage, said goodbye to Yu Guan, and walked directly to the prince's mansion where Qian Renxu lived. It is very common for royal children to send undercovers to each other in order to win the throne. He beat Zhu Beng twice. In order to avoid attracting the attention of those who are interested and causing trouble for Qian Renxu, Yi Huang took out a camouflage mask as thin as a cicada's wing from the soul guide and put it on his face. The prince's mansion is the residence of the prince of the Tandu Empire. It is where the future crown prince lives. The security is quite strict, no worse than the Tandu Imperial City. This is a very important place in the Imperial City. Anyone who is not in the know must leave. As soon as Yi Huang arrived at the square inches front of the prince's mansion, he was stopped by a team of heavily armored guards. A burly man came out and shouted at Yi Huang. Yi Huang was not angry at the guards' obstruction, as this was their duty. I want to see His Royal Highness the Crown Prince. Yi Huang took out the token that Qian Renxu had given him when he left last time from his soul guide and shook it in front of the captain of the guards. Seeing the words King on the token, the captain of the guard's eyes shrank and quickly made way. This was the jade pendant of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince. It was not an ordinary person who could hold such a jade pendant. This way, distinguished guest. The captain of the guards led Yi Huang forward and winked at a guard next to him, asking him to go back to the mansion to report in advance. It turns out that Yi is here. As soon as Yi Huang walked to the door of the mansion, Qian Renxu came out to greet him. Although Yi Huang changed his appearance, Qian Renxu still recognized him at a glance. Greetings, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince. Of course, he had to do the whole act, and Yi Huang pretended to bow and salute. Well, we are all family, so there is no need to be polite. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince is deeply loved by the people of Tandu for his approachable personality. Seeing Qian Renxu, who was disguised as Zhu King, helping Yi Huang up, the guards beside him were not surprised. Although the guards outside the Crown Prince's mansion are strict, Yi Huang didn't see many servants inside the mansion. "Is Sister Ling-a-ling in the mansion?" Yi Huang asked as he followed Qian Renxu into the Crown Prince's mansion. "Oh, so you are here to find your little lover." Hearing that, Yi Huang opened his mouth to look for Yi Ling-a-ling. The smile on Qian Renxu's face slowly disappeared, and the words she spoke were even more jealous. Yi Huang was originally the husband chosen by Qian Douluo for her. Although she has no feelings for Yi Huang yet, Yi Huang is dating another girl right under her nose and asking her to help take care of him. Qian Renxu certainly feels bad. In the room on the left, Qian Renxu pointed to the room where Yi Ling-a-ling lived, and her voice became much colder. "Go in by yourself, I'm leaving first." Qian Renxu pointed to the direction of Yi Huang and prepared to leave. She didn't want to see the two of them showing off their love in front of her. "Hey, Your Highness, don't leave yet." "If I don't leave, am I going to stay here and watch you two show off your love in front of me?" Qian Renxu had a cold sneer on her face. "Well, you misunderstood. I have something to ask you too." "Haha, you actually want to play both sides? Haha, men are really the same." Eating from the bowl and looking at the pot. There was no one around, and Qian Renxu's words were much more casual. "That's not what I meant. I have no feelings towards you." Realizing that Qian Renxu had misunderstood his meaning, Yi Huang hurried to explain. It would have been fine if he hadn't explained it, but Qian Renxu got even angrier once he explained it. "Do you think I'm not worthy of you? Don't forget that you are the husband that Grandpa chose for me." Qian Renxu whispered resentfully next to Yi Huang's ear. Yi Huang felt really confused, not knowing how to respond to Qian Renxu's words. Squeak! The sound of a door opening helped Yi Huang out of the siege. The two looked up and saw Yi Ling-a-ling looking at them in astonishment. "You guys, sorry to bother you." The position where the two were standing was too ambiguous, and Qian Renxu's face was almost next to Yi Huang's ear. Yi Ling-a-ling only paid attention to the postures of the two, but didn't look closely at Yi Huang's face. She had heard from Yi Huang that the Crown Prince was a manly person. Seeing the Crown Prince standing with a strange man in an ambiguous manner, Yi Ling-a-ling thought that she had ruined Qian Renxu's good deeds by opening the door. Qian Renxu obviously realized that her actions just now were too ambiguous. Her face flushed, and she quickly took a step back to keep a distance from Yi Huang. Chapter 94 Sending Magic Herbs to Yi Ling-a-ling and Qian Renxu. Sister Ling-a-ling. Seeing Yi Ling-a-ling closing the door in panic, Yi Huang waved to her. "Who are you?" Hearing the familiar voice, Yi Ling-a-ling stopped what she was doing and stared at the strange man in front of her with a puzzled look. "It's me, Yi Huang." This time, Yi Huang took off the disguise on his face and revealed his true face. "Brother Yi Huang, when did you come?" Seeing Yi Huang's true face, Yi Ling-a-ling ran out of the door in surprise and fell into his arms. "I just got here and came to find you. Are you tired on the way? Come in and rest quickly." "Your Highness, please come in too." Yi Ling-a-ling then greeted Qian Renxu. Although she just saw Qian Renxu was a little uncomfortable with Yi Huang's behavior, she was living in the prince's mansion after all, and it didn't seem right to shut the owner out. "Okay." Qian Renxu's straightforward answer surprised Yi Huang. Qian Renxu was now in a state of temper, looking at Yi Huang with ill intentions. "Hee, aren't you going to show off your affection? Then I'll just be a light bulb here." The three of them walked into the room, and Yi Ling-a-ling quickly poured 2 cups of tea and placed them in front of Yi Huang and Qian Renxu. "Brother Yi Huang, is there anything you want to do this time? How long can you stay?" Yi Ling-a-ling sat on the left side of Yi Huang, seemingly sitting casually, but separating Yi Huang and Qian Renxu. "I'm sending you the fairy grass, and I'll leave after you absorb it." Time was running out, and Yi Huang didn't drag his feet at all. "Fairy grass? What is fairy grass?" As a doctor, Yi Ling-a-ling also heard this term for the first time, and looked at Yi Huang with curiosity. Even Qian Renxu, who was standing next to him, pricked up her ears when she heard this new term. It is a medicinal herb that can change the physique and increase the soul power. There are such treasures in the world. Take it out and let us see it. Qian Renxu stared at Yi Huang eagerly. It is not convenient here. Please find a hidden place, Your Highness. Yi Huang was afraid that there were ears on the other side of the wall, so he hurriedly said to Qian Renxu. He also planned to give Qian Renxu one this time. Now Qian Renxu and he are just friends, but who can say what will happen in the future? Even if Qian Renxu and him can't get along in the end, just based on the love of Mr. Qian Douluo for him and her help in taking care of Yi Lingling, it is worth the fairy grass. To absorb the fairy grass, you need to summon the martial soul. Yi Lingling can absorb it in the house, but Yi Huang dare not let Qian Renxu absorb it openly. After all, Qian Renxu's martial soul is disguised by the soul bone. If it is exposed during the absorption, it will be bad if someone with ulterior motives sees it. You two follow me. Qian Renxu led the two into her room. After a while, a deep secret passage appeared in front of the three people. The secret passage was very secret. There were 3 doors in the whole secret passage. Each door required Qian Renxu's specific fingerprint to open. The 3 of them walked around for an hour before they came to a simple secret room. Okay, this is where I usually practice. No one can come here except me. Then let's do it here. Sister Lingling, eat the fairy grass in this jade box directly. Summon the martial soul, and absorb the medicinal power. Yi Huang's mind moved, and he took out a jade box from the soul guide and handed it to Yi Lingling. Okay, Yi Lingling never doubted Yi Huang's words. Yi Lingling took the jade box and slowly opened it. She saw an 8-petal orchid with a white and crystal clear body lying quietly in the jade box, giving people a feeling of nobleness. At the moment the jade box was opened, a refreshing fragrance came out of the box and quickly spread to every corner of the secret room. The rich orchid fragrance was inhaled from the mouth and nose, and people instantly felt refreshed. Smelling this fragrance, Qian Renxu showed an excited expression on her face. Although she had seen many rare treasures, this was the first time she had seen a treasure that could refresh people's spirits with just one breath of fragrance. This fairy grass is called the 8-petal fairy orchid. It needs to be made of gold and jade. It has the miraculous effect of strengthening the body and removing impurities. Sister Lingling, take it quickly. Such a good thing. You should keep it for yourself. Yi Lingling closed the lid of the jade box and pushed it into Yi Huang's arms. Her mind was on Yi Huang, her little lover, and she would think of him first when she had good things. Sister Lingling, I've already taken it. Take it quickly. Okay, thank you, husband. Hearing that Yi Huang had already taken it, Yi Lingling no longer hesitated and found a corner to absorb the fairy grass in her hand. Not long after taking it, Yi Lingling's body began to exude the fragrance of the 8-petal fairy orchid, and her martial soul, the 9-hearted begonia flower, also began to evolve at a speed visible to the naked eye. Not long after, a brand new begonia tree martial soul, about the thickness of an adult thigh and about 3 meters tall, gradually appeared behind Yi Lingling. Although Yi Lingling was just sitting there quietly, her whole body was still bursting with a strong breath of life. Husband, my soul power has increased by 5 levels, and the treatment range has also doubled. All of Yi Lingling's soul skills are range treatments, and the size of the 9-hearted begonia martial soul behind her determines the range of her martial soul treatment. Yi Lingling, who woke up, felt the sudden increase in soul power in her body and the expansion of the treatment range, and excitedly kissed Yi Huang on the face. If I had accepted his words, would this immortal herb that can evolve martial spirits and increase soul power belong to me? Looking at the jubilant Yi Lingling, Qian Renxu couldn't help but think wildly. Your Highness, this is a gift for you. While Qian Renxu was thinking wildly, Yi Huang took out another jade box from the soul guide and handed it to her. For me? Qian Renxu looked at the jade box in front of her in surprise. She didn't expect Yi Huang to give her a gift. From childhood to adulthood, no boy except her grandfather had ever given her a gift. Open it quickly and take a look. Oh! Qian Renxu hadn't reacted from the shock yet. When she heard Yi Huang's words, she opened the jade box slowly like a robot receiving an order. In the jade box was a red immortal herb with a coxcomb-shaped top and red gold veins. As soon as this thing came out, the temperature in the air rose rapidly. This coxcomb phoenix sunflower can make the sacred power and solar power in your body purer. Qian Renxu's martial soul is a six-winged angel, born with sacred attributes and fire attributes, which is already powerful enough. The role of coxcomb phoenix sunflower is to further purify the sacred attributes and fire attributes in her body, making her soul skills more powerful. Thank you. Qian Renxu showed a faint smile on her face. Your Highness, this is too polite. We are a family and we don't have to say two things. I will protect you. You absorb this fairy grass. Yeah, I don't know why. When I heard Huang say the three words family, Qian Renxu's heart was inexplicably happy. I hurriedly sat down, summoned my martial soul, and absorbed the fairy grass in my hand, thanks to the camouflage skill of the angel soul bone in my body. Qian Renxu showed a white swan martial soul in front of Yi Huang and Yi Lingaling. Chapter 95 Two Big Buns. As soon as she ate the coxcomb phoenix sunflower, a powerful flame suddenly erupted from Qian Renxu's body, followed by an extremely sacred energy that also erupted from her body. The two energies intertwined with each other, forming a large energy barrier that wrapped Qian Renxu in it. The energy fluctuations on Qian Renxu's body were too large, and Yi Huang was afraid that something would go wrong with her body. With a thought, the pattern of the three Magatama Sharingan appeared in his eyes. But when Yi Huang controlled the Sharingan to look into the energy barrier wrapped around Qian Renxu's body, he was stunned by the scene in front of him. I saw that Qian Renxu's clothes had been burned to ashes at some point. She was using the angel wings behind her to surround her flawless white body. As Qian Renxu breathed, the pair of elastic big buns often broke through the protection of the wings and appeared in front of Yi Huang. Gurgle. Seeing such a scene, Yi Huang couldn't help swallowing his saliva, hurriedly retracted the Sharingan, and turned his head elsewhere. He didn't notice at all that when he turned his gaze elsewhere, Qian Renxu in the barrier opened her eyes with a red face. Hubby, what's wrong with you? Are you feeling uncomfortable? Yi Huang's face suddenly turned red, and Yi Lingaling beside him couldn't help but feel a little nervous. No, nothing. It's too hot in here. Yi Huang made up an excuse. Well, hold on a little longer, the crown prince should wake up soon, then we can go out. Yi Lingaling really thought that Yi Huang's face turned red because of the heat. As soon as Yi Lingaling finished speaking, the energy barrier around Qian Renxu's body began to flow back, and after a while, it all returned to Qian Renxu's body. At this time, Qian Renxu had already taken a new set of clothes and put them on. The scene just now was still in Yi Huang's mind. Seeing Qian Renxu's figure, Yi Huang's eyes could not help but look in front of Qian Renxu. Feeling Yi Huang's aggressive gaze, Qian Renxu actually felt a numbness in front of her. Ahem. Qian Renxu, who really couldn't stand this kind of gaze, hurriedly coughed a few times deliberately, and stared at Yi Huang with hatred. Hee, how much has the prince's soul power increased? Yi Huang, who was caught in the act, laughed awkwardly twice and hurriedly changed the subject. I've upgraded to level 6, Soul Saint. How about it? It's amazing. She had always been defeated by Yi Huang, and this time she could finally hold her head high. Not bad. It's so-so, Yi Huang said disapprovingly. Although Qian Renxu has excellent qualifications, she has been slacking off in her cultivation for various reasons since she went undercover in the Tandu Empire. Now, even if she eats the coxcomb phoenix sunflower fairy grass, her soul power is just touching the edge of Soul Saint. Compared to Qian Renxu's talent, Yi Huang felt that this level of soul power was only average. Qian Renxu had originally thought of getting a word of praise from Yi Huang, but she didn't expect that in the end it was such a perfunctory sentence, and her face instantly turned ugly. What do you mean by not bad? What level are you? Qian Renxu retorted unconvinced. I can't, I'm only a level 54 Soul King. In order to prove the authenticity of his words, Yi Huang directly summoned his martial soul and revealed his soul ring. Yi Huang didn't like Qian Renxu's arrogant personality, although he didn't know whether he would end up with Qian Renxu. In order to prevent it from happening, He decided to cure Qian Renxu's princess disease today. The 5 soul rings on Yi Huang's body, 1 yellow, 2 purple and 2 black, emitted a dazzling light, and Qian Renxu could no longer say tough words. For the first time, she, who was proud in her heart, felt frustrated. Yi Huang is a soul king, she is a soul saint. There is still a 16-level soul power gap between the two, and on the surface, her soul power is more advantageous. But Qian Renxu knows in her heart that there is still a 10-year age difference between the two. With Yi Huang's evil talent for cultivation, he can surpass her in 4 years at most. Yi Huang is indeed qualified to talk to her like that. In fact, the reason why Yi Huang provoked Qian Renxu so much was for her good. Now she has gone astray and slacked off in cultivation. You must know that in Luo continent, the hard fist is the hard truth. As long as your fist is hard enough, you are the truth. Thank you. I will intensify my cultivation in the future. Qian Renxu is not a dull person who can stand firm in the royal family where conspiracies are repeated. It didn't take long for her to understand Yi Huang's intention just now. Well, it's good that you understand. The work has been done, and the 3 hurried out of the secret room. Thinking about Yi Huang's teachings just now, Qian Renxu no longer has the intention of being a light bulb. Yi Huang, go to Sister Ling first. I'll come find you after I refine the medicinal power in my body. Just practice with peace of mind. We'll meet each other sometime in the future. Husband, when are you going back? After leaving Qian Renxu's room, Yi Ling took the initiative to lean on Yi Huang's body. I'll be leaving in 2 hours. Yi Huang looked at the sun in the sky and estimated the time. Yu Guan had other things to do, so he couldn't stay here for too long. Then let's hurry up. Yi Ling said something ambiguous and pulled Yi Huang into his room. After entering the room, before Yi Huang could understand what was going on, his mouth was blocked by Yi Ling's sweet lips. Feeling Yi Ling's groping little hands, Yi Huang's suppressed anger in the secret room also rose up. 3 hours later, Yi Huang got up, put on his clothes, left a few messages, kissed Yi Ling gently on her face while she was sleeping, and left the room. After a long drought, the battle lasted for more than 3 hours, and now it has exceeded the time agreed with Yu Guan. Yi Huang had not taken a few steps when he was stopped by a voice behind him. Scumbag, are you leaving without saying hello to me? Yi Huang turned around and saw that it was none other than Qian Renxu who had just finished practicing. In fact, Qian Renxu came half an hour ago. She wanted to talk to Yi Huang and keep in touch with him, but she didn't expect that Yi Huang was busy with business. She waited outside the door for a long time before she saw Yi Huang come out. It turned out to be Your Highness. I thought you were practicing, so I didn't disturb you. I have something else to do. I will have a drink with you next time I come. Also, you must pay attention to the 4th Prince Zhu Beng. Zhu Beng is an old sly guy. Yi Huang was afraid that she would suffer a loss, so he hurriedly reminded her. Well, I'll pay attention. The teacher has been waiting for me outside for a long time. I'll leave first. Goodbye. Yi Huang said hello to Qian Renxu and prepared to go out. Hey, wait a minute. Well, do you have anything else you want me to take back? No, I want to ask you what you saw in the secret room just now. Qian Renxu finally plucked up the courage to ask the doubts in her heart. Do you really want to know? Yi Huang showed a malicious smile on his face. Well, I want to know. I saw buns, big buns. Yi Huang gestured with his hands, and before Qian Renxu could react, he jumped out directly. Yi Huang, you scumbag, don't let me see you in the future. Qian Renxu, who reacted, looked at the direction where Yi Huang left and vented her depression. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96. Provoke Me, Kill Me. Half a year later, at the Spirit Hall Academy, it was the annual enrollment season again, and the entrance of the Spirit Hall Academy once again saw the bustling scene of traffic. The campus was filled with the happy laughter of new students. At this time, the dormitory where Hu Yanzhen, Tianjin, Zuzin, Huang, and Yang Poten lived was in a mess, and all kinds of crooked wine bottles occupied almost all the places on the dormitory floor. Some people are happy and some are worried. The start of the school year is also the graduation season. A month ago, the soul power level of all the students led by Yang Huang reached the level of soul sect. This also means that several of them have reached the graduation standard of the Spirit Hall Academy. After 6 years of getting along, they suddenly had to leave, and everyone felt bad. All 5 of them got drunk that night. This was also the only time the 5 of them indulged in the 6 years they had been together. Huang rubbed his swollen head and slowly sat up. Everyone in the dormitory had left, leaving only him. Hu Yanzhen returned to the Tandu Empire, Zuzin returned to the Xingyuo Empire, and Tianjin went to the Wuhan Hall Judgment Department for training. Even Yang Huang took Yang Poten away from Wuhan City, saying that they were going to the Pazi clan to get back their own things. All the friends around him left at once, and looking at the empty dormitory, Huang's heart became empty. He walked back to the villa on the mountain in a daze. When he walked into the villa, he saw Bibi Dong reviewing documents while eating last night's leftovers. "Master Sister, you are back?" "Sister Na hasn't come back yet." Huang stepped forward to greet her. "Nana went out to train with Ziyu and the others." "Hey, even the little sister left?" Huang sighed secretly and calmed down the depression in his heart. "Master Sister, it's not good to eat overnight meals. I'll make new ones." Huang picked up the leftovers in front of Bibi Dong and poured them into the trash can, then turned and walked into the kitchen. After a while, 2 home-cooked side dishes were served. Perhaps because of his bad mood, Huang ate very little this time. "Huanger, are you worried about something?" Looking at Huang, who was listless at the table, Bibi Dong asked with concern. "Teacher, I want to say goodbye to my junior sister after she comes back, and then go out to practice." Huang said what he thought. "Have you thought about it?" As soon as Huang's words came out, Bibi Dong's chopsticks in her hand shook, and the chopsticks she picked up also fell a little. Although she knew in her heart that Huang would fly to the vast Buo continent one day, when this day came, she still felt a strong reluctance. "I've thought about it." "Okay, there's no need to wait for Nana to come back. You can pack up your things and leave Wuhan City tomorrow morning. There are a lot of things in the Pope's palace recently. I won't see you off tomorrow." Bibi Dong took a deep breath, fearing that she would regret what she promised Huang, and hurriedly ate some food and left the villa. The next morning, after Huang got up, he cleaned the villa, put a letter he had written yesterday on Juliana's desk, turned around and walked down the mountain, heading out of Wuhan City. At this time, on the tower of Wuhan City, Bibi Dong, Guan and Gui Mai stared at Huang's figure gradually going away. "Your Majesty, since you are reluctant to let Huanger leave, why don't you ask to stay?" "As long as you ask, Huanger will definitely not leave." Guan looked at Bibi Dong's depressed look and asked in confusion. "Genius is destined to be lonely. If you keep him, it will only delay his growth. Pass the order down. As long as Huang needs help, all Wuhan halls in the Buo continent must support him unconditionally. At the same time, send the Wind Squad to hide in the dark to protect Huanger's safety." "Yes." Hearing Bibi Dong's order, Guan was shocked and hurriedly agreed. Bibi Dong gave Huang so much power, which clearly showed that she was training Huang as the successor of Wuhan Hall. "Let's all go back." Seeing Huang's figure disappear, Bibi Dong walked down the tower with Guan and Gui Mai with a lonely look. Huang certainly didn't know that Bibi Dong watched him leave on the city wall. After leaving Wuhan City, he didn't hire a carriage. He admired the beautiful scenery of Buo continent alone while rushing to the Xingdu Great Forest at the junction of Tandu Empire and Xingyuo Empire. In the Xingdu Great Forest, there are a group of soul masters who specialize in helping others hunt soul beasts to obtain cultivation resources. The Soul Master world calls such soul masters soul hunters. This is the first stop that Huang had planned long ago. He plans to be a soul hunter here for a while. There are all kinds of soul hunters in the Xingdu Great Forest. This place can not only temper people's soul skills, but also train people's minds. As a soul king, Huang's speed is not slower than that of an ordinary carriage. and he can go through mountains and forests along the way, avoiding many detours. It only took him half a month to reach the outskirts of the Xingdu Great Forest where the two empires intersect. Although it was already late at night, there were still many hunters' tents on the outskirts of the starred Great Forest. These soul hunters stayed in the tents for a long time waiting for the soul masters hired by their employers. Seeing the young Huang coming alone, some soul hunters who had not yet rested showed a mocking look on their faces. Haha, another guy who doesn't know how to live or die is here to die. It's no wonder they thought so, because Huang looked too young. The starred Great Forest is not the soul hunting forest guarded by humans. The soul beasts in it are all very fierce. Even the soul beasts that are 100 years old are not something that ordinary soul masters can deal with. Human nature is indifferent. Although they know that a person is very dangerous, no one goes up to remind Huang. Some soul masters even showed greedy looks on their faces when they saw the soul guide on Huang's hand. Huang walked through one tent after another without changing his face, came to a flat corner, took out the tent from the soul guide and started to build it. In fact, when passing by these tents, Huang had already figured out the soul power of these people. Most of these soul hunters are soul masters of the soul sect level, and the two guys with greedy eyes are only at the soul king level. They are just some jumping clowns. As long as they have unreasonable thoughts, Huang will definitely make them die without a burial place. It is true that money can move people's hearts. After waiting for a while, it was confirmed that Huang was indeed here alone. A soul hunter of the soul master level with scars on his face opened his martial spirit without saying a word and attacked Huang's back. This guy is called Tang San, and his martial spirit is Feng Baboon. Others come here to be soul hunters for training resources. He came here purely to make money to act like a big shot in Yichunyuan. Because his martial spirit belongs to the agile attack system, it is not popular in the Xingdu Great Forest. He has not made a single business in several days. The money he brought with him has also been spent. He was penniless, and when he saw Huang alone, he had evil thoughts in an instant. Chapter 97 Ancient Ruins Appear. Hearing the sound of breaking air from behind, Huang turned around with a cold face. Humphrey, looking for death. Huang didn't care about Tang San's claws grabbing in front of him, and clenched his right fist and hit the guy's head directly. He was wearing a dragon scale inner armor, and a small agility attack. Soul Master's full strength attack probably didn't even have the qualifications to leave a mark on it. Seeing Huang punching Tang San without even opening his martial soul, the mockery on the faces of the surrounding soul hunters became even stronger. You are so young and ignorant. Tang San, who turned into a wind baboon, had arms that were obviously much longer than Huang's. As the two of them fought each other, Huang, who didn't summon his martial soul, would definitely be grabbed out of his heart by Tang San first. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. Seeing this scene, several soul hunters who were sanctimonious for the sake of face also quietly summoned their martial souls. As long as Huang died, they could kill Tang San with a legitimate reason and obtain the soul guide on Huang's body. But things did not go as they thought. While Tang San's claws grabbed Huang's chest and sparks flew, Huang's fist followed closely and hit Tang San's head. Bang! With one punch, Tang San's head exploded. All kinds of red, white, and yellow splashed everywhere. The blood on his neck was like a fountain rushing up to the sky. Looking at the body lying soft on the ground, the guys who wanted to fish in troubled waters hurriedly put away their soul power. Who else has an idea? Huang's lightning-like eyes swept across the guys with ulterior motives, and they were so scared that they quickly shrank into the tent. What a joke! A soul master who can blow up a soul master with one punch without opening his martial soul. What can they think? Even the two soul kings gave up the idea of hunting Huang in secret, before Huang showed his true strength. They did not dare to act trashly. In Buo continent, the strong are respected. Huang's fierce attack just now directly shocked all the soul hunters on the scene. This is the effect he wanted. Seeing that no one stood up, Huang turned around and got into the tent. In the past half-month, except for rushing on the road, the rest of the time was almost spent in cultivation. His own soul power has also risen to level 57. Boom, boom, boom. Just as Huang sat cross-legged and prepared to practice, thunder suddenly sounded in the sky full of stars. Hearing this violent sound, Huang hurried out of the tent to check, only to see that the sky above the starred great forest was covered by a strange black cloud from some time ago. This is not over yet. As the black cloud slowly settled, a dazzling ball of light appeared in the air, illuminating the outer periphery of the starred great forest as bright as day. The ball of light slowly evolved, and in a short while it turned into a simple light gate. A beam of light even shot out from this light gate and shone on the ground not far from where everyone pitched their tents. Roar, roar, roar. As the light gate stabilized, terrifying roars of beasts came out of it. The soul hunters present looked at the huge light gate in front of them at a loss, not understanding what kind of scene was behind this suddenly appeared light gate. This is the ancient ruins. The ancient ruins have appeared in the world. An old soul master looked at the light gate in front of him and shouted excitedly. The old man had experienced such a scene before. 50 years ago, his father died because he entered the ancient ruins, and not even a corpse was found. Although the soul hunters at the scene had never seen the ancient ruins, they had read a lot of records about the treasures found in the ancient ruins. So this is the legendary ancient ruins. What are you waiting for? Everyone, hurry up, go eat meat early and eat shit late. Several young and energetic soul hunters heard the old man's words, jumped up, and didn't even have time to pack up their tents, and rushed directly towards the light column not far away. But when the first soul hunter just came into contact with the light column, a strange scene happened. His whole body was inexplicably burning with black flames. This black fire was too strange. No matter how he rolled around, he couldn't put out the flames on his body. Seeing their loved ones in trouble, his companions hurried to help put out the fire. But what he didn't expect was that this flame seemed to be contagious. As soon as his hands touched this strange flame, his body also burned with black flames. Seeing this strange situation, the other soul hunters around who were about to rush into the light gate stopped their steps and stayed away from the two guys on fire. A series of miserable wails came from the mouths of the two people. After a while, they were burned into two piles of black ash. The two living people turned into black ash in front of them. The other soul hunters who were about to enter were already scared to death, and they were secretly glad that they were not the first to rush over. Old Liu, are you lying to us? This is not an ancient ruins at all. Having witnessed the disaster just now, the other soul hunters who almost followed in his footsteps looked at the old man surnamed Liu with a bad face. If the old man surnamed Liu was not a soul master of the Soul King level, they would definitely rush in and would not be so easy to talk to. Haha, the ancient ruins are good, but the threshold for entry is also high. Not everyone can enter. Then Liu Lao, what are the conditions for entering this ancient ruins? Everyone present pricked up their ears and waited for the old man surnamed Liu's answer. How should I know? The ancient ruins appear once every 50 years, and the entry conditions are different each time. Wait, the people from the two empires and the spirit hall will come to solve it soon. After saying that, the old man surnamed Liu walked into the tent. Seeing that he could not get any useful information, Huang also returned to the tent to practice. The ancient ruins are here, and he can't run away. The most important thing now is to adjust his mental state to the best so that he can have the energy to face the unknown challenges. As the old man surnamed Liu said, at dawn, many soul masters from the two empires and the spirit hall gathered on the edge of the Xinghuo Empire. They held various soul guides that flashed with strange lights in their hands and kept calculating something around the light column. As time went by, other forces that received the news from the ancient ruins also came from various places. The first to arrive at the scene was a group of soul masters wearing silver clothes with a white tiger pattern embroidered on them. Needless to say, this group of soul masters must be disciples of the White Tiger sect, the national defense sect of the Xinghuo Empire. After the White Tiger sect arrived, the young soul masters of the Fijian sect and the Fire Leopard sect of the Xinghuo Empire also came to the scene one after another with the elders of the sect. By the morning, the soul master team from the Tandu Empire also arrived here. Now, except for the Hashin sect, The disciples of the other 6 sects on the Douluo continent have all arrived. Huang hid in the crowd and carefully observed the elite disciples of each sect. Not to mention, there are really many old acquaintances of Huang in this group of people. In addition to Ning Fengxianji and Yuo Chengxin from the 7 Treasures Glazed sect, Yu Tanning from the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus sect, Huang also found the figures of his good brothers Hu Yanzhen, Zhu Zin, Tanjin, Yang Wushwang and Yang Poten. Chapter 98 Zhuzuking. Time passed slowly. When most of the sects came here, the first group of soul masters who were responsible for exploring the ancient ruins had already found a way to enter the ancient ruins. After the tacit consent of several titled masters present, the elder leading the White Tiger sect, as the host of this event, came to the stage and announced the conditions for entering the ancient ruins. Everyone, after the precise survey of the soul masters of the Xingluo Empire, the Wuhan Hall and the Tandu Empire, this ancient ruins belongs to the ancestral land of the ancient nine-life spirit cat, the Mount of the Moon God. It turned out to be the ancestral land of the ancient nine-life spirit cat. The soul masters who can enter this time will make a fortune. Some soul masters who knew about the nine-life spirit cat showed surprised expressions on their faces. Boss, what is a nine-life spirit cat? The soul masters who didn't know the inside story hurriedly asked the soul masters around them who knew the inside story. This nine-life spirit cat is a kind of soul beast in ancient times, known as the life extender in the soul beast world. Life extender? What's the saying about this? The soul masters next to him who didn't understand the details waited for the answer with eager faces. Looking at the faces of the people around him who were listening attentively, the soul master who understood the inside story felt extremely satisfied in his heart, and then he explained in detail. It is said that an adult nine-life spirit cat has 9 lives. These 9 lives can not only be used by oneself but also adopted by others through secret methods. In order to gain the friendship of the 9-life spirit cat clan, the spirit beasts of all parties have sent various natural treasures to facilitate the rapid growth of the 9-life spirit cat clan. The 9-life spirit cat clan was not very strong in ancient times, but it was definitely among the top in terms of wealth. To enter the ancient ruins, you need to be under the age of 15 and have a spirit power of spirit cats above level 25 to open the passage. Please ask the spirit masters who meet this condition to come to the front desk. Hearing the words of the elder of the White Tiger sect, 2 girls wearing black leather jackets and leather pants walked out of the crowd. It can be seen that the figures of these 2 people are extremely hot, especially the 2 round headlights, which make the leather jackets bulge, as if the leather jackets will burst if you are not careful. Of the 2, the older girl had short hair and a smiling face, exuding a fiery mature aura. On the other hand, the other girl, who was about the same age as Huang, had a completely different temperament from the older girl. She had a cold face without a trace of smile, giving people a feeling of keeping away from strangers. Leather jacket and leather pants, super bright headlights, and nether spirit cat martial spirit. Looking at the 2 beauties, one ice and one fire, in front of him, Huang had already vaguely guessed that the pair of sisters were Zhuzian and Zhuzuking. Each spirit cat type soul master who meets the conditions for opening the ancient ruins can bring up to 20 soul masters into the ancient ruins, except for these 2 girls with spirit cat type martial spirits. Other soul masters who want to enter the ancient ruins must meet the requirements of bone age under 15 years old and spirit power above level 30. Suck. As soon as the White Tiger sect elder's words came out, the scene was in an uproar again. They knew that the conditions for entering the ancient ruins were very harsh, but they didn't expect it to be so harsh. A 16-year-old soul master is a leader even in these large sects. Once this condition came out, it almost destroyed the way for all the casual cultivators to enter the ancient ruins. Silence. In addition, the soul masters who enter the ancient ruins must give 10% of their income in the ancient ruins to the soul master who helped them open the passage when they come out. Next, soul masters who meet the conditions and are willing to abide by the rules, please choose the spirit cat soul master they want to follow. As soon as the White Tiger sect elder's voice fell, a burly guy with long golden hair and an arrogant face walked out of the White Tiger sect soul master team and came behind Zhu Ziyan. If anyone wants to cooperate with me, "Davis, please come here." Hearing Davis' words, several young soul masters who were planning to stand next to Zhu Zuqing also hurriedly turned around and walked to the side of Zhu Xiaoyan. For these soul masters, it is obviously more beneficial for them to make friends with a prince of the Douluo Empire. For a moment, there were more than a dozen soul masters who met the requirements surrounding Zhu Xiaoyan, while Zhu Zuqing had no other soul masters except herself. There were only a few people left who did not stand in line. Davis also showed a smug look on his face. Zhu Zuqing stood there without any sadness or joy, as if all this had nothing to do with her. There is no greater sorrow than a dead heart, which is the true portrayal of Zhu Zuqing now. She found a cowardly fiancé. Even if she was unwilling, she could only cry silently in her heart. Alas, such a kind girl should not be treated like this. Huang couldn't help but sympathize with Zhu Zuqing's experience. He sighed softly, squeezed out of the crowd and walked behind Zhu Zuqing. Oh my god, someone actually dared to ignore Davis's threat and stand behind Zhu Zuqing. He is really brave. The soul master who knew the inside story showed a playful look on his face. Huh? Brother, are you standing in the wrong position? Seeing Huang standing next to Zhu Zuqing, the smile on Davis' face gradually disappeared. He didn't expect that even after he revealed his identity, someone still dared to stand next to Zhu Zuqing. When Davis was speaking, Zhu Zuqing, who always had a cold expression, also flashed a hint of surprise in her eyes. She turned around and looked at the boy next to her involuntarily. She thought she was alone again this time, but she didn't expect that someone would stand next to her in the end. Can I stand on your side? Huang ignored Davis's threat and asked Zhu Zuqing, who turned to look at him, in a self-proclaimed gentle tone. Yeah. The kindness on Huang's face warmed Zhu Zuqing's heart. She had been silent since she came here, but she said yeah to Huang for the first time. Davis was so angry that he almost exploded when he saw this guy who came out of nowhere ignoring him. He didn't expect that there would be someone in the territory of Xingluo Empire who dared not to give him, the Prince of Xingluo, face. Boy, do you want to be my enemy? Davis did not hide his hatred for Huang. Haha, you, a golden lion dog, are worthy of being his enemy. Why don't you take a piss and look at your own virtues? Before Huang could speak, a bald boy walked out from the position where the spirit masters of the spirit hall stood and stood next to Huang. Needless to say, the only one who could say such a bad thing was Huang's good brother Tang San. As the precious grandson of the 98th level Super Duo Sky Crocodile, Tang San always spoke without scruples. He was even more ruthless to those who dared to bully his brothers. You can mess with anyone, but you have to mess with the fourth brother, who gave you the courage. Fish Liang? That's right. As the two voices sang in unison, Hu Yanzhen and Zhu Zin also walked out of the crowd and walked to Huang's side. Old boy, if you try to threaten my fourth brother again, I will fucking kill you. Before Hu Yanzhen and Zhu Zin finished their words, Yang Potent directly activated his martial spirit and rushed towards Davis with the soul-breaking spear. If Huang hadn't stopped him quickly, Yang Potent's soul-breaking spear might have pierced Davis. Chapter 99 Entering the Ancient Ruins. Davis's face became even uglier as he watched Huang, Tang San, Hu Yanzhen, Zhu Zin and Yang Potent talking and laughing. He saw with his own eyes that Huang came out of that group of casual cultivators, so he also wishfully thought that Huang was just a casual cultivator without any backing. Unexpectedly, when he was preparing to kill the chicken to scare the monkey, so many forces were implicated. Tang San was the grandson of the second priest of the Spirit Hall, and he couldn't afford to offend him. Hu Yanzhen came from the Elephant Armor sect, and the sect was in the Douluo Empire. There were frequent frictions between the two empires, and he would not care about him. Zhu Zin's family's prestige among the people of the Xingluo Empire was not even lower than that of the Xingluo royal family. Even his father had to bow and salute when he saw Zhu Zin's grandfather and call him senior. As for Yang Potent, although he was not familiar with him, he was very impressed by Yang Wushwang who led him here. Just a few days ago, Yang Wushwang broke through the titled Duo, and as soon as he came back, he suppressed the opposition of the Puyi clan with iron-blooded means. Even Yang Wudi, the former patriarch of the Puyi clan, did not last for a stick of incense in his hands. Although Yang Wushwang had just broken through to the titled Duo not long ago, The ancestors of the Xingluo royal family who secretly watched the battle not far away listed Yang Wushwang as one of the titled Luos that the Xingluo Empire should not easily provoke as soon as they came back. Some forces that were not on good terms with the Xingluo royal family looked at Davis with a smile. Davis was now in a dilemma, and even beads of sweat appeared on his head. If he didn't handle this matter well, his position as the crown prince would be over. If he went up and fought directly, there were a few people among these people that he couldn't afford to provoke, and he didn't dare to provoke. If he admitted his defeat directly, he would not only lose his face, but the soul masters present would also think that the Xingluo royal family was weak and could be bullied. In the long run, the iron-blooded deterrence that the Xingluo royal family had worked so hard to establish would be destroyed in his hands. Quiet. Everyone is here to seek wealth. Why should we hurt the harmony for a little thing? The elder of the White Tiger sect standing in the front desk hurried out to smooth things over. The leader of the White Tiger sect was Davis's uncle from the same clan, and a staunch supporter of Davis's bid for the throne. Davis' prestige was hit, which was obviously a result he didn't want to see. Yes, at present, the matter of the ancient ruins is the most important. The elders of the White Tiger sect stepped forward to smooth things over, and other sects with close relations with the White Tiger sect also hurriedly echoed, "You open your martial soul first and bring them in." Fearing that there would be another wave of trouble, the elders of the White Tiger sect hurriedly signaled Zhu Xiaoyun. "Okay, elder." Zhu Xiaoyun walked quickly to the side of the light column, opened his martial soul, and slowly walked towards the light column. Unlike the previous few soul masters who were burned, when Zhu Xiaoyun, who opened his martial soul, slowly approached the light column suddenly rippled like water, and in the blink of an eye, a small door that could only accommodate one person appeared on the light column. "Quick, hurry through the light gate and enter the light column." Seeing the light gate appear, the elders of the White Tiger sect hurriedly urged the soul masters who had just stood next to Zhu Xiaoyun. As soon as these soul masters entered the light column, a bright light swept across their bodies, and the whole person immediately disappeared from everyone's sight. This bright light that swept across the soul masters entering the light column obviously not only had the function of transmission, but also had the function of detection. When the soul master who concealed his age from Zhu Xiaoyun entered the light column, he was swept by the light in the light column, and his whole body instantly burned with strange black fire. This soul master was burned into a pile of black ash before he even had time to call for help. I say again, those who do not meet the conditions must not enter, otherwise you will bear the consequences. I quit. I won't go to the ancient ruins. Seeing this person's miserable condition, another soul master who was holding on to luck quickly quit the team. When all the members of Zhu Xiaoyun's own team were teleported into the ancient ruins, she also walked to the middle of the light column and was teleported into the ancient ruins. These people were teleported in one by one, and Huang also vaguely guessed that they might be teleported to different places in the ancient ruins. Everyone must be careful after entering. Take these things, so that we can communicate with each other after entering the ancient ruins. Huang took out bundles of fireworks and firecrackers from the soul guide and distributed them to everyone. When using, just light them and throw them into the sky. Everyone, gather in the direction of the signal when you see it. These fireworks and firecrackers were originally made by Huang to please Huliana, but he didn't expect them to come in handy at this time. Take these. Huang also handed a bundle of fireworks to Zhuzuking. Zhuzuking obviously hesitated for a moment. Take them quickly. There are many treasures in the ancient ruins, but they are also full of dangers. Only by working together can we return safely. Without waiting for Zhuzuking to refuse, Huang directly pulled Zhuzuking's hand and stuffed the fireworks into her palm. Go quickly and open the passage, otherwise, all the good things will be snatched away by those people. Thank you. Zhuzuking turned and walked towards the light column. When passing by Huang, she actually said the word thank you for the first time. I've made progress. I said one more word than before. Hearing Huang's teasing, Zhuzuking's cold face actually had a slight fluctuation, and she even quickened her pace towards the light column. The small door on the light column reappeared, and Yi Huang and others entered one after another and disappeared in the light column. When Yi Huang walked into the light column, a strong light swept over, and Yi Huang closed his eyes habitually. After a feeling of dizziness, Yi Huang opened his eyes and found that he had landed in a forest with towering ancient trees. It's worthy of being an ancient ruins. The spiritual energy here is much richer than the outside world. If I practice in such an environment, I will soon become a soul emperor. Feeling the spiritual energy in the air, Yi Huang couldn't help but sigh inwardly. I don't know how the other brothers are now. I have to find them quickly. Everything in this ancient ruins is unknown, and it is safer only when everyone is together. Yi Huang took out a firework from the soul guide and lit it quickly, wanting to see if there are any of his companions nearby. Swoosh! The fireworks rushed into the air and bloomed into a beautiful pattern. Yi Huang waited quietly, but an hour passed and still no one came. I can't wait any longer. Seeing that no one came, Yi Huang chose a direction and ran forward quickly. As expected of an ancient ruins, before walking far, Yi Huang found several herbs that had become extinct outside. Rustle. When Yi Huang was collecting a rare herb, a series of slight sounds came from the bushes in the woods. Although the sound was slight, it did not escape Yi Huang's ears. Chapter 100 Davis Secret. Yi Huang stopped what he was doing and looked around. He saw more than a dozen wind wolves with gray fur and drooling mouths appearing from all around and surrounding him in the center. The lowest of these wind wolves has thousands of years of cultivation, and the largest wind wolf king who led the pack has 10,000 years of cultivation. The wind wolf king let out a low roar, and the other wind wolves that received the command lowered their waists, kicked their hind legs, and soared into the air, opening their bloody mouths, waving their sharp claws, and pounced directly at the standing Yi Huang. Although the attack power of this wind wolf is not strong, its speed is extremely fast, and it pounced in front of Yi Huang in a blink of an eye. Humphrey, a mere 1,000-year-old soul beast, dares to be so presumptuous. Looking at the soaring wind wolf, Yi Huang also began to move. He let out a low roar and rushed directly into the wolf pack, his right hand clenched fist constantly greeting the wind wolf's waist. Copperhead, iron bones, tofu waist. The wolf's weakness is in the waist. After a round of fighting, several wind wolves were hit in the waist by Yi Huang, and they fell to the ground limply. Seeing that Yi Huang was not easy to mess with, the other wind wolves made a whining sound and ran behind the wind wolf king with their tails between their legs. Seeing that his little brother could not resist, the wind wolf king let out a long roar. His eyes turned red, and his bloody mouth bit directly at Yi Huang's neck. This 10,000-year-old wind wolf king has already gained wisdom. The neck is the weak point of the human body. If it is really bitten by this guy, it will definitely break directly. Yi Huang turned around to protect his neck and punched the wolf king with his right fist. But the speed of the wind wolf king was too fast, and his punch hit the air directly. After failing to hit, Yi Huang's body quickly retreated to a big tree that several people could hug. Leaning against the tree, he summoned his martial soul, the strange velvet chrysanthemum. Looking at the wind wolf king who attacked again, he directly lit up his second soul ring. The golden chrysanthemum petals turned into a rain of flowers all over the sky, withering rapidly as they fell, and the mist quickly enveloped the area in front of Yi Huang. The moment the wind wolf king, who was galloping, stepped into the mist, his speed suddenly dropped sharply. Fifth soul skill, cover the whole city with golden armor. Taking advantage of your illness, I will kill you. Yi Huang's fifth soul ring lit up again, and a layer of golden soft armor was instantly covered on his body, and a thick flower spear was added to his hand. The golden flower spear pierced directly into the eyebrows of the wind wolf king with a terrifying sound of breaking through the air. Ding, puff. The wind wolf king, who lost his speed advantage, became a lamb to be slaughtered, and was directly pierced through the heart by the thick flower spear in Yi Huang's hand. Woo! Seeing the death of the head wolf, the other wind wolves fled directly. Yi Huang shook his right hand lightly and shook off the wolf corpse on the flower spear. Fearing that the bloody smell would attract other soul beasts, Yi Huang did not bother to kill the fleeing wind wolf, and quickly put away his soul power and left here. After this incident, Huang became more cautious. Even when he was chased by some soul beasts with low soul power on the road, he did not stop. After more than 4 hours of rapid travel, the surrounding trees became sparse. Hungry Huang climbed up a tall tree and took out soul beast meat from his soul guide to replenish his physical strength. The tree that Huang chose had a very dense crown, which could hide his figure very well. In addition, there was nothing around the tree that blocked his sight, which made it easier for Huang to find danger in advance and avoid it. Huang took out dry food from his soul guide and ate it quickly, then sat on a tree branch and closed his eyes to take a nap. His nerves were tense all the way, which was also a great burden on Huang's spirit. Not long after Huang closed his eyes, he heard a sound of fighting in the distance. Huang quickly opened his eyes and looked forward along the gap between the leaves. He saw 2 black shadows fighting and rushing towards his resting place. The shadows were getting closer and closer, and Huang could see the true faces of the 2 people. They were the sisters Zhu Xian and Zhu Zuqing. Zhu Xian was several years older than Zhu Zuqing, and was already a soul master at the soul master level. Zhu Zuqing's soul power was only that of a great soul master. After a battle, Zhu Zuqing had a lot of scars on her body, and her soul power had been exhausted. She leaned against the tree trunk and gasped. For some reason, although Zhu Zuqing had a lot of scars on her body, none of them were fatal. Third sister, don't struggle anymore. As long as you are willing to leave the ancient ruins and go back to accompany the second sister, I will never embarrass you. As the daughter of the Zhu family, they were destined from birth that they could not be as united as sisters in other families. Looking at Zhu Zuqing's staggering steps, Zhu Xian's face showed a face full of reluctance. While there were only 2 people here, she hurried to persuade them. I won't give up. Even if I die, I won't go back with you to live in such a dark life. I want to make a way for myself. Zhu Zuqing's eyes were full of stubbornness. When Zhu Xian and Zhu Zuqing were in a stalemate, Davis, with a head full of golden hair, also rushed up from behind. Zhu Xian, what are you doing? You can't even kill a great soul master. You are such a waste. Hurry up and do it. Don't waste time here. Don't delay my date with Jenny. Seeing that Zhu Xian didn't go forward to kill Zhu Zuqing, Davis showed an impatient look on his face. When Davis called her a waste, Zhu Xian didn't get angry. But when she heard the word Jenny, her body trembled slightly, and a trace of sadness appeared on her face. In the eyes of outsiders, Davis loves Zhu Xian very much, but this is just an appearance. Davis doesn't like women at all, even a beauty like Zhu Xian. He won't even look at it. If Jenny in his mouth is a beauty, it would be fine, but she is a burly man with thick hair all over her body. Thinking about the first time she ran into the big man named Jenny leaning on Davis's arms, Zhu Xian felt sick. What's the point of becoming the crown princess? You'll still be alone until the end of your life. This is the fate of the Zhu family's women. If she could choose her life again, she would never want to be the daughter of the Zhu family. Why don't you do it? Prince, please give me more time. I promise to make her change her mind. Zhu Xian looked at Davis with a pleading face. Get out of the way. Davis ignored Zhu Xian's plea and pushed her aside, lighting up his 3rd soul ring directly. 3rd soul skill, White Tiger Vajra transformation. Davis' body swelled rapidly, and black and yellow tiger stripes appeared on his skin. His blood-red eyes revealed a bloodthirsty light, and the tiger claws that swelled twice as large mercilessly slashed towards Zhu Zuqing. Are you going to die? Just die. No one likes me and no one loves me anyway. Thank you for making me feel a little bit of warmth. Zhu Zuqing, who had exhausted her soul power, had Huang's figure flashed through her mind. She closed her eyes and faced death with a look of relief. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.